skimmed it because I just got it late and
No, I just wanted to make sure like you got the cues, and I didn't add the final track because in case you wanted to pick a final song, but it's all done. Otherwise, it's great. I mean, yeah, if you just skim it, that's fine. Like, I'm not asking for like a deep critique. I just was like, good, bad,
Yeah, and one thing you want to do is very important. Whenever you add a track there, you want to set a type to it. So I'll show you later, but like when you set the type, that helps. Like that automatically makes it sound like better.
Oh,
Like,
interesting.
Noisy dialogue with background noise for all our tracks, and that basically like just makes it sound better. And if you're adding music, you set it to balanced background music. And
we are live, by the way.
Oh, we're live.
Oh, yeah.
We're live
Hello.
on Adobe Audition talk here.
Yes. We're talking all about Adobe Audition, how cool it is. It's a very versatile piece of software. And best of all, you can't own it ever. You will never own it. It will always be a license that you subscribe to by the month. It's good times. There's nothing better than software that you can't do anything you want with.
Now that I'm a
Can't do
student,
anything.
I get it for only $20 a month.
That's pretty sweet. Yeah, I wonder if can I write it off? Can I be like, this is a tax expense, right? I can. For Adobe Audition.
Jack, Skullgirls is a little bit loud, actually. You can turn it down.
Oh, you can turn down Skullgirls. It's loud, says the people.
Says the chat there?
Says the chat there.
Sorry. It's too loud. Are you hearing it at all?
I don't hear it at all.
That's just not even happening.
I don't hear it at all, but I have the stream up.
Oh, let me open Twitch on my phone and see what the chat is up to.
Okay, I turned off Skullgirls. Sorry, we're getting figured out here, everybody.
Sorry, no. It's all good. This is how
It's all great.
it's all great. Everything's coming up. Struggle
It's
set.
all fantastic because guess what, folks? Jack is back.
Hey,
Here I
the
am.
man is back.
You can see this is why we're doing it on Twitch. Is just so that you don't think we're trying to trick you with voice manipulation software and stuff like that.
Deep fakes.
Yeah, no deep fakes.
Oh,
Just
oops.
turn that
Let me,
all the way
yeah.
down.
Whoop, mute.
No deep fakes, everybody. I am back, and
He's a married man.
I'm married now. Ask me anything.
Ask him anything.
Well, it's great to have you back. We got the whole Struggle Session gang back together. It's like when Dipset reunited. The band's back together. It's cool. It's
exactly like when Dipset reunited.
Yeah. So which one of it? So I feel who's Cameron, who's Jules, who's Jimmy? That's my only
I mean,
question.
I'm a clear Cameron.
Whoa, Jack. I think I'm Killer Cam.
Yeah, I take that a little personally as somebody who's always identified as a Cameron.
Can we all be Camerons?
We are all Camerons. This is like Dipset with 3 Camerons, the best of all worlds. Best of all
Nobody wants to be Jimmy, unfortunately.
Nobody wants to be Jim Jones. No, not at all.
Well, it's just the name gives back bad memories.
I'm loading up the thing.
That's a plug for the other show I'm working on.
Well, it's good to be back, guys.
Yeah.
It's been nothing's happened really since I've been gone, right?
Let's catch you up. Well, this is our Strugglethon. This is a big thing. We should start doing like state of the podcast, to open these Strugglethons up.
Okay.
So just to look back on what we've accomplished in the past month. And so with Jack away, not here, chilling in Thailand, we actually put out 10 episodes so far this month. We're putting out 2 more. So
that was 12 episodes in 1 month. It is an obscene amount of content. Obscene.
Go ahead. Yeah.
No. After you, my friend.
Yeah, we've gotten so much more polite.
We are very polite. I've always considered myself a polite boy, a nice Jewish boy, an NJB. But I think that, look, I don't want to say that you were slowing us down, but Leslie and I, we got to work. We had to make up for the fact that, look, you are a third of the show. People, believe it or not, people really like you. And without you, we had a void to fill. So we did that. like anybody. We filled that void with as much content as humanly possible, and that was. I mean, yeah, 12 hours of content in 1 month is nothing to fucking scoff at.
Now that I'm back, everybody, don't get used to that.
No.
That's not how that's not the rate we're going to be going at. That was my wedding celebration. You guys were celebrating on my behalf.
Well, it was a fun wedding. And
it was.
But now you're married. Now you're back. You have to.
I'm married. I'm back. I spent the entire day cleaning out the garage at my house. So I'm like really married.
Wow.
I'm like really married.
Yeah. I mean, it's Los Angeles too. So like, it does it sort of feel like returning to purgatory a little bit in a weird way?
Coming back to LA.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I missed LA. Like, there are things, like, it feels bad to sort of get back into the thick of hell
of work again, and life and news
like that, but it did make me think that the weather is very nice out here.
Yeah, well, it's raining today. It's actually raining today.
What say?
It is raining today, so it's not that great, but no, it's pretty great.
Yeah, no, I'm glad to be back. Thailand was awesome. If you ever get the chance to go to Chiang Mai, it's like the best food in the world, and it's all like $1, and you get it from carts on the street. You can. I met an elephant. They have all these fucked up elephant things where like they do elephant shows and stuff. So we went to one that was like an elephant sanctuary where you just like this guy had one elephant and you just like bathe it or whatever.
You bathed
like,
the elephant?
I bathed
like a
elephant.
Sponge, like you scrubbed it, or
like I did do some scrubbing, but mostly you just take buckets and like throw water over the elephant. Then, I met this elephant. Bud Ma is the name of the elephant.
Did you pet him?
Yeah, you pet the elephant, you feed it bananas, and then follows you around.
It eats it out of your hand?
Yeah, and then you like have to mash a bunch of vitamins together to in like a mortar and pestle to feed to the elephant.
Yeah, that sounds real fun, Jack. While you were off, feeding the elephants, I was here on the grind, editing down 12 goddamn episodes with some fantastic guests, Kay Halper, Rolo Saavedra, Rob Rousseau for our Black Iron, our sports episode, our sports ball episode, Brandy L. Jensen for our Hannibal.
Oh, that was a fun one. That was one months in the making.
Honestly, this seems like probably the best month of shows. And you said that people like me, but maybe the show would be better off without me.
No,
Maybe it would.
That's not true.
We just put out one with Joe Deitch and Louis Gibson. We didn't mention on the show, but Louis Gibson is, his dad's kind of a big deal. You can go ahead and Google him. We're not going to put him on blast, but
here's the deal. Louis doesn't like to talk. I don't really know what the relationship is between him and his father, but as a member of the Hebrew tribe, I have had no problems with Louis at all. Let me just put that out there.
Enough said.
Happy Hunting is a really great movie, though, and I was happy to have him on the show. And we have some cool stuff coming up. Actually, we got a great one. Can we say what we're dropping tomorrow, or
we're dropping tomorrow episode with Mr. 6-star gaming general Felix Biederman
of the Stolen Valor Brigade.
Yes.
That's going to be a blast.
It's a blast. It's fun. It's funny, and it's actually like really emotional and
gets
deep.
real.
Yeah,
it's real. That's not a joke either. It's a good episode, everyone.
And we also just have an episode coming soon where like the three of us are just going to fuck around, which is we haven't done enough of lately. We've been too. We got a lot of great guests, and sometimes
you guys have been doing too good of episodes these days.
Well, we needed to fill the void that you left.
Yeah, and I got kind of used to firing you, Jack, and JDB missed the episode, unfortunately, and I fired him.
So but you didn't tell me Pacific time. I needed we live 3 hours away, and like we have to make that clear. That was on both of us. And Rob held his own. I listened to that episode. Yeah,
He did great. He's in the chat room now. What's up, Rob?
I did. Rob, by the way, it was fun watching you own James Gunn today on Twitter. That was very funny.
Good. So good, so good. Since I'm used to not having you both there, I actually did a special episode about Black Panther featuring T from Champagne Sharks and Bree. She came back on the show, So we have an all black show about Black Panther coming up, and I just wanted to talk about all these great episodes we've done and all these bonus episodes we got coming out because, folks, this is the Strugglethon. So what we need from you is to make those subscriptions. Get those great bonus episodes. Tell your friends about the show. Just tell one friend about the show. Say, hey, this is a really cool show. You should subscribe to it. You get tons and tons of cool bonus content. If you're already subscribing, that's fantastic. We love and appreciate you. You help us, do this so much. And if you want to make a one-time donation, you can do it at paypal.me/LLEEIII or on the Cash App, cash.me/$LLEEII. And your support just means so much to me and JDB because it literally
really does
how we pay the rent.
Yep. I mean, look, without Struggle Session, I would probably not have my apartment anymore. Straight up. And Struggle Session took me from a very interesting position, which was out of work. And it gave me a purpose, something to really to fight for and to get that leftist message out to gamers and pop culture fanatics who feel that the social conversation is not really addressing their personal concerns. And look, I'm extremely grateful to Leslie. I'm extremely grateful to Jack. And I'm really, of course, mostly extremely grateful to you guys for letting it all happen because without you guys, we would have no show. We would have nowhere to, we wouldn't be able to get our guests. We wouldn't be able to start upgrading equipment. And yeah, we wouldn't be able to pay our rent. So thank you very much. And it means the world.
And so, thank you so much. We've done enough thanks. We've done enough begging. Now let's get on with the show. We got some
Hell yeah.
We got some great guests lined up. And there's kind of a theme to the show because I've been thinking we've been on me and JDB at least have been really on the grind this month. We've been working hard at the podcast.
I've been helping elephants. That's what I've been doing. I've been out there.
Do the elephants make noises when you touch them, like pleasure noises?
Not really. They just take the take the banana away.
Yeah, but they follow you. They get excited. They
that elephant.
They want to be your friend and stuff.
Me its friend.
Like I do this thing with my girlfriend, and it's really dorky. It's called Dog of the Day, where we find.
Oh wow! Look at this. This is huge news, actually. Look at the last
Proposition Joe.
Yeah, Proposition.
I am your 420th subscriber. Well, Joe, if you come to California, I will reward you for being the 420th subscriber. I will buy a fine pre-roll, and we can share it together.
You just won the secret contest.
Oh, thank you so much, Prop Joe. We really appreciate it. And it was fucked up what Method Man did to you.
Okay, sorry. Let's move along. No more about the elephant.
Okay.
No more elephant talk. But the elephant in the room is this: there's only so far you can go as a leftist podcast, right?
Yes.
And I have to say, Jack and JDB, Hollywood thing isn't really working out for you. I just don't think it's going to happen.
I think it's working out for Jack. Okay, me not so much. It's kind of I'm done.
Jack, I mean, come on, a show about gamers. Come on.
Oh my god! You're gonna bring an NDA for me.
I'm sorry.
I don't care.
No, this is the show about gamers.
Yeah, this is the show about gamers.
Right?
But,
yeah.
I've been thinking about what could be the next step for Struggle Session. We're going to keep the podcast going, of course, but what could be something that could bring something a little bit extra to the table, bring a little bit of edge, what we can do besides this. And guys, I've been thinking that maybe we should get into some pro wrestling.
That's doing it or watching it?
I've watched I'm a big fan of pro wrestling. I love Andre the Giant in The Princess Bride. I think I thought that Dave Bautista was fantastic in Blade Runner,
but
and in that Bond movie. So I love wrestlers.
But here's what I see when I look at you two folks, Jack, JDB. I see a tag team.
Okay.
I see haystacks, Jack.
Leslie, I'm not making any more porn.
Hollywood heartthrob, Jonathan Daniel Brown. Your manager, Big L.
You would like to manage us. This is what this is about.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, this could work out, actually.
I think we should do it, but I don't want you to give an answer yet. I've
Okay.
done some very special guests to just give you a bit of more of an introduction to the world of wrestling. And you know, maybe you can learn a little bit about it. We'll chat with them about wrestling, the politics of it, everything else. And then at the end of the show, maybe we'll come to a decision. All right.
Okay. Well, that sounds fair to me. Yeah. Let's make a big life decision in the next hour or so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, why not, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
And without further ado, we have our first guest, returning Struggle Session champion. His episode was one of our best reviewed episodes. Everyone loved it. Everyone was telling us how great this was because he's a great guy, a passionate guy, a guy who has so much energy and love for everything he cares about. Like, you can't help but feel it. Just and you know who he is. I hope you're seeing his little video, Mr. Aubrey Sitherson.
Hey, boys. Thanks for having me back.
Hey, welcome.
It's my pleasure. Can you hear me okay?
Yes,
I can
great.
hear you. Fantastic.
Let's see if I can get the video.
Yeah, but I don't know. Do we? Oh, there you are. We see him. We hear him. He exists. Are you out of town right now?
No, I'm in LA.
Oh, okay.
The same town as you are.
Yeah, you could. Well, you know, you could have come on by if
We
you wanted
forgot
to.
that.
But we like telecommunications just fine. Gorgeous leftist of wrestling. Very, very funny.
Well, thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
Of course,
welcome.
guys. Of course, I'm excited. I didn't realize this was gonna be the first guest. I am honored that y'all are that I'm kicking off the show. I'm in the traditional the Heat Bringer match, man. The big ladder match at WrestleMania. That's what I am right now.
Yeah, you're the person who's gonna, you know,
I'm gonna pop the crowd.
yes, pop the crowd. We got you. You got your full energy. And I just want the first question I want to ask you, just straight up.
Yeah.
You see Jack there. You see JDB.
I'm looking at him.
Yeah.
Here we are.
That's us.
Do you see them holding the tag team straps one day?
Well, you know what? Here's the thing.
Very convincing.
Yeah,
Thus far.
Let's get into
Protecting
it.
your
If
voice.
we're gonna get into it. Here, I need to know a little bit more about y'all as a team. Because here's the thing, you know, just because y'all are formidable opponents.
Sure.
I know that's obvious. That is abundantly clear. But I think that there's a lot more to putting the straps on a team than just their in-ring chops. So
Right.
I would need to know more about your tag team, your name, your your individual gimmicks. If you're sharing a gimmick, if it's like a weird odd couple thing, are you guys just doing? You could just do a straight up Road Warriors riff. That always works. You tell me what are you guys working with here?
Well, Al, what did you say? You said I was Haystack Jack, and he was Hollywood Heart JDB or something.
Yeah, I like
Hollywood
that.
heartthrob.
I like
Okay,
that.
so
Are you guys going with that?
Yeah, no. I mean, Al's the manager, so what he says kind of goes.
You,
I
you
like-
like moving
listen,
the mic's
these
blocking
are-
your face. You gotta.
You're giving me all the right answers right now. Listen, Leslie, what is your name?
I'm Big L.
Big
Big L?
If you got Big L holding the reins, I don't see why you guys don't go straight to the top. Really.
Well, you know, it's funny you bring this up because I mean, I don't want to be like too much of a braggart, but I have been compared to Manny Pacquiao a few times, and so normally,
right?
so you know, at first I was thinking about getting into boxing or maybe some MMA. Like I don't know, do you guys remember Anderson Silva? Like I've gotten a few of those. But
Oh yeah.
The truth is that what appeals to me about wrestling is, of course, the kayfabe. I would want to 100%. Would we be heels or would we be faces? Because that is the determination of whether we go in or not.
I think the problem is you guys, you're just too good looking to be faces. You're just too
No.
damn good, handsome. Like
We have to be villains.
you have to
And-
be the bad guys.
Listen, if you put Hollywood in your name, you're a bad guy. And
Right.
like, and even that, like having Hollywood in your name is such a strong heel signifier that it turned Hulk Hogan villainous, right? That's how
Yeah.
powerful. That's how powerful putting Hollywood in your name is.
That's how much people hate Hollywood.
Yeah, man, Holly Weird, as I call it.
Whoa.
Yes.
I mean, yeah,
That is pretty crazy. That's pretty funny.
edgy La La Land material. Let me tell you, it is weird when you think about what Hollywood is. Hollyweird, because most of Hollywood, when you actually think of Hollywood, is, I mean, nobody wants to say Burbank, nobody wants to say Century City, but I live off Hollywood Boulevard, and let me tell you,
I like Burbank JDB a lot better than Hollywood.
Burbank. The Burbank. Well, it's more accurate to who I am.
The
Burbank
Burbank
kid JDB. I like that a lot better, honestly.
Go all out. I'm from North Hollywood and
Like,
Tarzana.
over the people over the head with like real estate signs.
Oh, you're the Valley Boy. That's what you are.
Yeah.
You're the Valley Boy. JDB. That's
Valley
the gimmick,
Boy.
man.
Oh, you could
Valley Boy
you could
JDB.
you could
We just show up in a
re-record
topless maid van.
you could
Have you seen
re-record the
those?
song
No.
Valley
Get
Girl.
out here. They're everywhere. They're everywhere. Do you know
The
anybody
topless
who's done
maid
it?
vans?
Yeah. Do you know anybody who's done it?
No.
No, but I've read like a Vice article or three about.
I
how
think
it
it's
works.
just like some kind of grift. I assume like
It sounds like it's tremendous. I imagine it's just like
I think
I
it's
don't
just
know.
stripper. It's just a stripper. It's like
Oh,
a girl
really?
comes over and takes her top off and doesn't clean very much. I think is what it is.
I always kind of assumed it was going to be like the massage parlors where it's like a front for white slavery.
Yeah.
not like-
probably
like
that too.
I've seen like these weird billboards lately that's like know the signs of sex slavery, and it just says like adult movies XXX, and it's like this new LA city initiative, and it's like that's just a porn shop, which like there's like 3 left. I don't know what you're fucking talking. There are like no porn shops in Hollywood anymore. They're all
Were the topless maids on that list?
no, the topless maids are just they're just in the they just have the vans parked. But I read that the guy who owns the topless maids company has basically like been in this protracted lawsuit
He's
with
my
the city
pastor.
for. I don't know what happened, but basically,
Is
like,
that true?
yeah,
No,
because
no.
they keep towing the vans and saying the vans are a public nuisance, and he's like, "This is free enterprise, baby. I get to park these guys anywhere I want for as long as I want." But they keep getting towed, and I mean, look, if you're gonna.
Y'all need to do an investigative report. Y'all need to hire a topless maid to come and clean up the studio.
I'm
Right.
good. I'm
Yeah,
fine.
we will not be doing that, but we will be getting into wrestling. But Aubrey, we want to get into you a little bit.
Yes.
You last time you were on the
Do
show,
it. Get into me.
you teased that you were going to you had a big project coming up, and you couldn't tell the audience about it yet. But I believe it's public now.
It is now public. Yeah, man.
Would you please share this huge news you got going?
Man,
Hell yeah.
for like I've been sitting on it for like a year and a half. Because I wrote the thing about a year ago. I was balls deep in writing this thing. It is the comic book story of professional wrestling. It's coming out from 10 Speed Press. I worked with
Wow.
collaborator Chris Moreno, who I'd worked with previously on the Worth graphic novel that came out through Arcana and the Roddenberry guys. We've reunited. We've got a bunch of great colors. Let me just get the credits out first, right? 'Cause
Yes.
I don't want to do anybody dirty. Chris Moreno is my brilliant collaborator. He's the perfect guy for this. Not only does he get wrestling, but he's amazing at period stuff and caricatures, which is super important because there are so many real people in this thing. It's a nonfiction history of professional wrestling, the one true sport from the Carney days up into the present. Coloring the book, we've got Len O'Grady, we've got Brad Simpson, we've got Alan Pasalacqua. And they're handling different chapters, so it's not like a mismatch or anything. They're doing gorgeous, stunning work. And lettering it, we got the mighty Russ Wooten, who letters like practically everything in Image, like every big Image book you've ever heard of. Russ is probably
He's been doing it for a long, long time. I mean, I have read many, many Image books, and I see that Russ Wooten has lettered almost all of them.
Yeah, man. And it's because he's the best. He's a pal of mine from back in my Marvel days, and so he's helping us out with lettering on that. And yeah, dude, it covers everything. It covers everything about wrestling. About I tried to. I don't like these types of books, right? Like I don't like the nonfiction comic book where it's just like it's just an essay that they then broke up into like panels arbitrarily.
Have you read like the Larry Gonick ones, the cartoon histories? Those are pretty good, but
I have
yeah,
not.
in general they're pretty bad. But I
I
like
have not
that
read
one.
those. I have not
Yeah,
read those.
Typically, I think of those like what was that publisher that just would always do like the President Obama comic.
Oh, yeah.
Blue Water, I think.
Blue Water.
It's not a Blue Water. You're not doing a Blue Water here.
Yeah, man. Like, so here's the thing. Of course, there are good versions of this stuff, and I think that the best versions of this applies to comics as well as anything else. If you're going to do nonfiction, that doesn't mean you don't have a story, right? Like, you still have to find the narrative. And so I put a lot of work in trying to find these overarching narratives of the history of wrestling and kind of like thesis statements about wrestling. One of them is that wrestling has always been the same, right? There's this myth within wrestling fandom that like, oh yeah, 20 or 30 years, like it's always the same thing. At any time in wrestling's history, there was some crusty old asshole saying that 20 or 30 years ago, wrestling was real. And they have always been full of shit. Like that's never been the case, but it's like it's this sliding scale. So that's one of them, is this idea that wrestling has always been fake and it's always been the same thing. It's just these patterns repeated over and over again.
Do you?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry, I'm just babbling.
Do you have any panels you could like?
Not yet. We haven't
to the
shown,
screen.
No,
Okay.
We haven't shown the. I'm looking to see if I have a printout of the cover. We haven't shown any interior pages yet because it doesn't come out until October. It's available
Okay, you got to.
We got a little while. It's available for pre-order right now, and pre-orders are, of course, really important. It's from a traditional book publisher, so it'll be in your Barnes and Nobles if they're still in existence in October, and local bookstores and stuff like that. Pre-orders are important because if you pre-order from your local bookstore, they know that's going to be popular and they know to order additional ones. And if you pre-order from Amazon, which, you know, here's the thing, I'm not going to be the guy who's, if you're listening to this podcast, you know what not to like about Amazon, but you also know that you might very well live in a place in America where there isn't a local bookshop because there are not a whole lot of them left. Maybe you can't afford
where the effects of Amazon are felt.
Right.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So like you don't have any other option. The solution isn't not to read books, right? The solution certainly isn't not to buy my book. So yeah, go to Amazon too. Order from Amazon if you need to, because that helps a lot too, because it helps move it up the search algorithm rankings, which gets it seen by more people. But yeah, the cover is available. It was revealed on Paste late last month, early this month. If you go to aubreysitterson.com, you can see the cover and pre-order links and all that stuff.
Sounds awesome. It sounds like required reading for what might
Right,
be
I mean,
my upcoming career here, I guess.
Well, yeah, I mean, if we're gonna be
Learn
a
a thing or
tag,
two.
how many years back does this book go? Like, how deep are we talking about in terms
Well,
of
the first page has cavemen fighting over mammoth bones, right?
Gotcha.
We don't spend a lot of time in the Paleolithic, but we do cover some of it. It really kicks in the mid 1800s because that's when wrestling as we know it, that's why we talk about the caveman stuff, because people have always been wrestling each other as like a form of combat or even a folk competition. But wrestling as we know it really began with the carnival circuit in both France and America. It happened almost simultaneously in the mid 1800s.
Very cool.
Yeah, I mean, so how does that fare for Valley Boy and the Tarzana kid?
Yeah, that's what the chat
Do you
seems
have
to
time
do.
to add additional pages if necessary? If
About our career.
The tragic rise and fall of Haystacks Jack Allison and what are we going with? The Valley Boy JDB.
I mean, we are, so our finishing move is called the Traffic Jam 101.
Okay. God.
And what it is we literally just leave the wrestling rink and we just go onto the freeway and fight there.
And go home.
Okay, people
I don't
have
know.
done that before. People that's
No, so
actually happened.
I know. I stole that from a real thing that happened where like a band called Imperial Stars a few years ago, like parked a truck onto the 101 and then stood on top of it and played their song called Traffic Jam 101 till they were all arrested.
Wait, really? You stole even the Traffic Jam 101?
Yeah, I made it all up.
Okay, so all right. I'm gonna be the ideas guy. Okay, like just relax, guys. All right, I'll
Okay.
handle that.
I just know so much about wrestling, and so I thought I could contribute.
So, Aubrey. So
Yes,
I
sir.
guess the larger question is like, is the history of wrestling like important, and why do you think it is?
Oh man, I absolutely do. And so I think that wrestling, I think, is, so this is another one of the big theses to polarize it, whatever. One of the thesis statements that I have in the book is this idea that wrestling is different from other forms of storytelling, right? And because I think a lot of times people compare like a really popular thing right now because wrestling is getting popular again and people are coming to it from other serialized mediums, right? Because what used to be kind of a rare thing that you only saw in comics and wrestling and soap operas, right, has now branched out into television and movies in a really big way. And so serialized storytelling is mainstream again. And people are coming to wrestling and they're using that as their frame of reference. But for me, wrestling operates differently from those things because wrestling works like a con, right? Or a magic trick if you want to be more kind about it. But really, like the origins of wrestling are in the carnival circuit, and wrestling works as a con game. And there's an old saying like you can't con an honest John, right? The person you're trying to trick has to think that they're conning you and that they're getting some kind of crazy deal. It's a pyramid scheme, right?
So how does the deception of wrestling differ from, say, the deception of, I don't know, like a rumble on Jerry Springer or a reveal on one of these soap operas that someone was sleeping with their cousin?
So Jerry Springer has become more wrestling like over the years as people have to acknowledge that it's scripted, that it's fake, right? And that's how wrestling works. That's separate from say like a Marvel movie or a soap opera or something like that. These other serialized things, because it's constructed around this central lie that the material tells the audience. The material tells the audience this is real. What you're seeing is an actual thing right now. But then more importantly, the audience tells themselves a lie, which is that this is real, right? Even though they know that it's not. And you're required to believe that wrestling is real in a way that you're not required to believe that a movie you're seeing in a theater is real. And it's a type of self-deception that has always worked and has always been really effective, right? Whether you're selling snake oil or you're a revival tent preacher or
the suspension of disbelief,
or you're a fucking politician, right? Sure. And so and so there are like a million think pieces on this, right? So I'm sure people have read some of them in terms of like the pro wrestling nature of Donald Trump's presidency, which isn't anything new. It's just something it's grown organically out of what our political system has become. I think that now we're seeing the power and appeal of wrestling transcending wrestling, and we're seeing it show up all over news media and certainly in politics.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely agree. I think that like the term kayfabe is one of the few I'm aware of in wrestling, but I think like a very important term for understanding American politics.
Well, that Jake Tapper forum we were watching the other day felt
that sure looked a lot like
WWE straight up. Like it looked like they kind of gave up the pretense of it not being entertainment. People wanted to see Marco Rubio get clowned on by a bunch of grieving teenagers, and it was fun. And but was it anything? Because while we're all enjoying all of this shit, meanwhile, gun control bills in Florida completely fall apart, and the NRA keeps on chugging away. And whether you're a Second Amendment believer or not, I know there are some listeners here who are like into guns and like I don't give a fuck. We can all agree the NRA fucking sucks. Like straight up, they are.
Yeah,
trash.
I did say the other day, like if we're not gonna get rid of guns, at least we can get rid of the NRA. And it seems like it might be happening because they're losing all their sponsorships and shit.
That's really nice to see.
I don't even like this equivocating, honestly. Fuck it, get rid of all the guns.
Yeah,
I don't like it. Do you guys have a lot? Do you guys have a lot of like really strong Second Amendment listeners? Really?
They're not. I think
You'd be surprised.
I think they're less Second Amendment and more like.
Like I need a rifle to hunt the venison that I feed my family with.
More like
I'm okay with. That I'm all right
to
with.
bring about the revolution.
More like people that are like, I don't want cops to be the only people.
Well, that's my thing though. Like if you disarm the public, you have to disarm the police. Period.
We don't have to fucking talk about gun control.
All right.
We made a promise we're not going to talk about gun control.
I'm sorry. I signed no such promise.
Aubrey did not sign
Skinner in 75 said we should dump them all to the sea.
The thing is, Aubrey, is that the podcast has a B right now with the NRA, so we're not really trying to
I afford to fuck with it.
We have all these gun lobbyists who have been paying us off.
Right on the cusp.
And it would just be a shame to lose that sponsorship deal because we were going to have Dana Loesch on the show next week.
That's the thing. You guys are going to telethon until you get an NRA donation.
the NRA is right now at the $10 Patreon level, and we can't really.
All right, so Aubrey, what else has been going on with you? Well, actually, you know what? I take that back. I know it's been going on with one of your enemies, Mr. Diversity and Comics.
Oh,
you're busy, huh?
One of the worst people on the internet somehow formed a Voltron with one of the other worst people on the internet, Mr. Kurt Eichenwald.
Well, no, but that Voltron collapsed real fast.
It already turned on itself. It's amazing. It is like that. It's beautiful. Like I don't know enough about it to really do it justice, but I don't know. Do you guys? Like
I do because I'm sick. There is something fucking incredible.
Michelle's a friend of mine, so I only know about it like from Michelle's perspective.
Michelle rules.
Michelle is
right.
the best. Yeah, man.
But like, okay, so from an outsider's perspective, I don't really know Michelle's work. But I do know Kurt Eichenwald, and I do know Diversity in Comics. First of all, before I start,
because I'm going to interrupt.
Yes,
I think this gets lost too often in discussions of all of this Comicsgate stuff and like this general outrage about whatever. Michelle's work is really good.
Okay, good. Where can I?
It's I think her collection, The Pervert, it's on pre-order right now. On Amazon, it's shot up in the rankings for all the attention she's getting, which is well deserved. She's excellent. She's a former sex worker and did this like. It's like a furry porn comic, but about trans sex workers, which sounds crazy.
It's fucking awesome. It looks really cool.
It sounds wild.
It's really good. It's really smart. She's so talented. So don't just listen to this and think, oh, what an asshole that guy is. And let me go tweet about this. Go buy her work. Go on Amazon. As well. Use my Amazon link.
well, pause for the calls. If you are a member of Amazon Prime because you're forced to by late capitalism, you can subscribe to this Twitch stream for free. All you gotta do is make 2 clicks, link your Twitch account to Amazon Prime.
I didn't know that. That's dope.
Then subscribe to this, and that's just free money in our pocket straight from Amazon. It costs
you nothing. It costs
you nothing. It costs Amazon something.
We will take it from Jeff Bezos, drain it from his castle. That's
actually only costs Amazon $250 too.
Right.
Twitch takes 50% from all the revenue, so they're really only giving over $250. But do it. You should do it if you have Amazon Prime. It's nothing to you.
Okay, so I will say. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I will say, just as someone who like popped into this whole like mess, as someone who is not really connected to the comics world, seeing Michelle and this Diversity in Comics guy stop fighting so that they could both clown on Kurt Eichenwald is one of the funniest things in internet history. Yeah. Straight up. Like they stopped their fight so they could both shut this asshole down. I mean, it's amazing.
Look, I'm of course well versed in most of the travails of Kurt Eichenwald, and I'm a big Kurt Eichenwald fanboy.
Right.
I guess you could call
his image on Discord is good old Kurt.
True, actually, and that's even before
we had a sack of child porn somewhere.
See, here's what's interesting though. Like that is
some context. I mean, is there anyone here who doesn't know who Kurt Eichenwald is? Kurt Eichenwald is like a former Newsweek reporter. I guess he used to write for the New York Times until he basically like did this child porn story where he like got too deep with.
Well, he gave his own money to help a source who was
he accidentally found some child porn.
Oh no! There's no. Like I will fake news that he was never found with child porn, but he did give money directly to someone who was making child porn, like a kid.
Story still is he's like, I found child porn accidentally when I was searching for another story, and then I got interested in that. So that's
his whole thing became about like rescuing kids or whatever, and so he has spent years and years and years fighting with people online about this thing.
He sued someone. Well, who knows if this is true or not, but somebody sent him a gif of like to give him a seizure, and he says it gave him a seizure.
He sued him.
He did sue this guy from online. And if he gave him a seizure, he fucking should sue the guy, I think.
Here's the other thing. I think that like this is one of the things I find fascinating about that guy is that the real complaint about him isn't that he did all like because investigating child porn, like it's a very sticky thing, obviously, right? And by all accounts, he did kind of help the kid that he ended up helping. But the weird thing about what he did was that instead of writing about child porn from a like removed perspective, as a journalist typically would, he wrote it as like this narrative of him as the hero,
as a rescue.
Yeah.
Right.
It
But that's his constant thing. Like
which is what's weird about the whole thing.
but that's most of his writing, and that's why he's like a strange man and a narcissist and not very good. I mean, he likes to do that with every story. I mean, if you see him, one of the last year he went on like Tucker Carlson, and Tucker Carlson was like just knew exactly how to push this guy's buttons, because I don't even know how. He's so smug and dumb and shitty, and yet like they pick the dumbest possible people as his foils, and they'll just happily go on and get their butt kicked. And Eichenwald was talking about how his like deep state CIA, FBI contacts had incontrovertible proof that Trump was in a mental asylum, and like, you know, maybe I wouldn't be surprised, but he had no fucking proof.
Stop. All right, so Aubrey, I brought you on to convince these boys to be pro wrestling, and now we're just talking about Kurt Eichenwald again.
I'm interested.
Like, this is where we've been before. Like,
It's a rabbit hole.
Like, I feel like Aubrey, if you want to stay on, you can, but I feel like I need to bring on another guest.
Bring somebody else.
Whoa!
Are we gonna keep talking about Kurt Eichenwald, or are we gonna do something else?
We're gonna pivot to wrestling. Goddamn.
I want to be clear here. What you guys just witnessed was our finishing move.
Yeah.
You want to witness our skills as a tag team? I think you just did.
Yeah, that's
we bore our opponents to death.
Yeah, we'll talk
with
about
Eichenwald talk
until people fall asleep.
Okay, so moving on from Eichenwald and Diversity in Comics, who, by the way, not to blow ourselves, but our Patreon is bigger than him. How the fuck does this guy keep getting so much press? He's like a loser.
Annoy me. That really annoys me.
He gets so much press, and he's like fucking just some weird like mouth breather who films himself reading comics and complaining.
The wrestling term, he's a jabron. How about that?
He's a jabron. All right, and then we can now pivot back into wrestling, do our heel turn. So in the rink, Aubrey,
ring.
I said it's the ice wrestling rink. We do both. We skate and we wrestle at the same time. We are also pairs. We're a pairs
triple axe handle.
So let me ask you a question. Just because it's all fake, right? All the wrestling is fake. You don't have to be in good shape or anything like that, right? We don't have to like go.
No, you need to get the cardio up, dog. You got to get that cardio up if you want to have a compelling match.
Here's the thing: Jack is jacked, like for real. I saw him
cardio though. It doesn't matter, man. You know what? I can't have him blowing up in the middle of the matches.
JDB is the guy who runs around, gets his ass kicked, and has to do all the high spot.
Playing
Jack
Ricky
is the guy who just comes in and just like starts slamming and sidewalk slamming and power bombing people. Like that's what my vision for the team is. You know, you got your typical vicious and delicious pair. All right,
I like it. It sounds better. It sounds better whenever you talk about it, Leslie. It's a good sign. It's a good.
I'm the guy who stands on the corner and then does a cannonball on another guy.
I think we've got a long way to go here.
Yeah.
All right, brief pause for the calls. We got to thank our new subscribers.
Yes, welcome.
Mech Goji, who's been a podcast subscriber, but has subscribed to us on Twitch.
Hey, that's really cool, man. Thank you.
Sam98597 says, "Take this Bezos cash, you cucks." Thank you so much for that. That's awesome. That's sweet. Oh, we got new subscribers to the show, Mr. Fox Avi. Thank you so much, Mr.
Thanks. Welcome to Struggle Session.
Mr. D Morrissey. I hope it's the real Morrissey because I love you. I respect you. He spells it the same way. So thank you so much for subscribing, Morrissey.
Well, we do live in Silver Lake, so it's it's possible.
Hey boys, I'm gonna cut out.
All right, yeah, you gotta go.
Before I do, can I cut a promo? Can I encourage people to support Struggle Session?
Oh, please do.
Yeah.
Thank you, Aubrey.
So here's the thing. If you don't know me or what I've been up to, you might not be aware that I used to do a wrestling podcast called Straight Shoot. It just recently ended last month, and I winded it down because I've been doing it for 4 years, and it was a really good time, and I love doing it. But it is exceedingly hard to make good content consistently on the internet. It comes down to two simple things as I see it. One is that good content has been devalued to the point where people feel like they don't need to pay for anything, right? They can get everything for free or for pennies, right? And two is the fact that you have to do things so democratically. You have to do everything to appeal to the biggest audience possible. There's not room for niche stuff, and niche stuff is my favorite stuff. It's the stuff that I love the most. I think it has the most influence on people because it forces you to get really deep on something, to take a specific angle on something and explore it. And that's hard to make work because when you're trying to make money off of YouTube ads and affiliate programs, you have to traffic in volume, in massive volume, and it works at odds with beautiful, specific, weird stuff like Struggle Session. So
thank you so much.
The simple fact of the matter is, if you listen to Struggle Session, if you like having these guys in your ears talking to you about all this stuff every week with their specific tone of voice and the way they approach things, you have to chip in. It doesn't have to be a whole lot. There are different Patreon levels on their page. You can choose the one that's appropriate for you. But even if it's just $1, people always say, all I can do is $1, and they don't want to do it. It's nonsense. Because if everybody who listened to Struggle Session just gave $1, amazing things could happen. Do you guys have big goals that would happen if you?
Absolutely, huge goals.
Huge. We plan on growing.
This is the blank in my promo where you throw in the goals.
So here's the deal, Aubrey.
I'm moving. If it gets big enough, I'm moving to LA.
We want Elle to move to LA.
We
want to upgrade to a bigger studio. We want to start doing more game streams. We would love to get gaming PCs so we can start our own little leagues. We would love to start doing more video. I mean, if we could have some Joe Rogan style studio and start doing more video streams.
We want to be more like Joe Rogan.
We want to be more like Joe Rogan.
They're gonna improve the studio to make it like a nicer atmosphere. So I'm more likely to stop by on a Friday.
We want people to come by to the studio, and we want to give them like chips and water and weed pens.
So all this stuff is possible. All this stuff is perfectly attainable. But to do it, you have to go to patreon.com/Struggle Session.
Yeah.
There it is.
That's it.
That's my plug. It's almost like I did that every fucking week for 4 years. It's almost as if. All right, boys. Thank you so much for having me. Good luck on your telethon. I'll be checking
later, Aubrey.
Later, boys.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much. That was awesome. Thank you so much, Aubrey. He's a fantastic guy. We love him. I want to thank CWW for just subscribing on Twitch Prime. And
thank you, CWW.
I want to thank Trevor Drinkwater for giving us a one-time donation. That helps so much because that literally helps us pay for the software that we use to record the show. Like that's what you just did, Trevor. Like the show would not exist next month if it was not for that donation you just made.
And by the way, all of these guys, the last few guys we thanked are also active members in our Discord community, and they're some of the smartest and funniest people I've had the pleasure of talking to anywhere, let alone online. Part of the fun of joining Struggle Session is that you get to hang out in the Discord, and it's a vibrant community of young leftists of pretty much all backgrounds at this point who are just down to talk about games, movies, pop culture, in a totally non-judgmental an open environment.
And we talk a lot about comics, and I want to say that Michelle Perez, who we were talking about how awesome she was, is in the chat room right now. Thank you so much.
Whoa, thanks for coming, Michelle.
Yeah, everybody buy her book. She's great. And we have another awesome person on the show who is just dialed in. She's a fantastic tweeter, amazing poster. But I feel like posting is kind of like, you know how you have amateur wrestling, professional wrestling, right? I feel like posting is just amateur podcasting. And this is a woman who has recently moved up to the big leagues. She got scooped up by one of the greatest talents in the podcasting game, Kath Barbadaro. Kath has like 5 podcasts, right? And she saw this potential, this rookie, and she scooped her up and said, "I'm gonna make you a star, baby." And she started a podcast.
Welcome, Kath.
Called not Kath.
Kath. Can you guys hear me, by the way?
Yes, we can hear you. Yeah. She started a podcast called WrestleSplania with Miss Rachel Millman.
Hi. Hi everybody. I'm sorry I'm not Kath, for starters.
Oh, shit. You're Rachel. What am I talking about?
It's fine. I mean, Kath is blonde. I'm brunette. For like if you want to keep like a chart anywhere, that's the main.
We have the chart up here,
qualifiers.
so he
Right.
really has no excuse.
Well, you know, I'm not on Twitter anymore.
No, it's fine. It's totally fine. And he said Kath. I totally get it. Thanks for having me, guys.
Welcome. Thanks for coming, Rachel.
Yeah, definitely. I appreciate that you pitch Kath so much as like this superstar in podcasting. Although I do have to say, the idea for the show was neither mine or Kath's idea, and I kind of had to sell Kath on it.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, just because the idea, because for those who don't know, WrestleSplania's whole conceit is that Kath is a hardcore wrestling fan, and I am an enthusiastic newbie who doesn't know anything. So Kath explains wrestling to me every week, and we're going to explore a lot of it just because wrestling, there's so much of it that there's never going to not be any content for us to go through. But basically, I watched New Japan Wrestling with her a month and a half ago and tweeted about it. And it got such an overwhelming reaction that somebody was like, you guys should do a podcast together. The way you guys are talking about this is a really accessible and fun conversation. And I'm sure you're not the only person out there who wants to learn but doesn't have an outlet to go to.
So who was that? Whose idea was that?
Yeah, I mean,
that was our producer. I don't know if a lot of the people who are on this follow you guys on Twitter, but he's Vrunt.
Oh, Vrunt. Okay.
Yeah,
sure.
Vrunt. Yeah, it was his idea, and he's a producer, and he's also my boyfriend. But you know, from professional standpoints,
you can't mention that.
I know. Now that I'm like a lady online asking for money, how I better not be anything but single.
That is so funny you mentioned that, because in Japanese pro wrestling, the women are not allowed to speak publicly about having boyfriends, like even to this day, because the idea is that, well, if people know that you're involved, you're going to sell less merchandise. And that actually applies.
Oh, that's fucked up.
It actually applies to a lot of like the better looking guys too. They'll hide their girlfriends as well if their thing is to sell a lot of merch to women who like them. And like it's like such a weird real thing, unfortunately.
So is that also why like Kenny and Kota are a huge deal, because now they're like open and dating? Or do you guys watch the Golden Lovers? I don't know who this is appealing to.
They don't know the Golden Lovers. See, this is the problem. This is why I have you on, Rachel, because you're not a neophyte, but someone new to pro wrestling who gets it. I've been trying to get JDB and Jack to really get wrestling for months, and they're just not as smart as you, unfortunately.
No, I know that. I know that. Like, I know Doink. He's a clown. He wrestled people. I know there's.
I know Doink.
I know there's Ric Flair. I know there's Triple H. I'm just gonna say names.
I know Triple H.
I know very little about wrestling. Let's be clear.
But the beauty of your WrestleSplania is that like you really are open to it and appreciate it, wrestling for what it is. So a lot of our listeners don't watch pro wrestling. In fact, sometimes we get complaints for talking about it. So could you explain to someone who kind of is closed-minded about it, what does someone like you, who's really smart leftist, a really effective real life activist? If you Google Rachel Milmon, you'll see what she did for the victims of Hurricane Harvey. Like, you're a legit fantastic person. So what do you find in wrestling?
Really nice. Thank you. For my perspective, it depends on what sort of media you like to consume and how you like to consume it. I'm not going to sell everyone on it 100%. But what I did find to be so compelling is that it was very, very classic, like every tenet of a Shakespearean storyline in there, packaged in Bravo reality TV settings. So it's really funny. And I think there's been a slight misconception with our show, which is that we're watching it ironically and just trying to shit on wrestling, and we're not. Like, we genuinely love it. It's really fun. It's really beautiful storytelling that's disrespected weirdly, just because when you learn of wrestling, you think of it as a lower class goofy thing where it's two racists pounding on each other, and sometimes it is that. That's like not an unearned reputation, but it's got so much happening with it, and there's so many beautiful, cool storylines. The one I referenced earlier is these two guys, Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi. They are having a resurgence in like an 8 and like a 10-year-old storyline that is a queer storyline in Japanese wrestling, which is so cool. And that's so wonderful. And like, yeah, wrestling can be a little regressive. So like, this is their first big queer storyline, and it's 2018. I know that that's behind the times, but it's still just really beautiful storytelling. And because I'm such a dweeby media enthusiast in a lot of other forms, and wrestling is like my big thing where I don't know anything, that I can find a lot of themes that I've seen in other movies and TV shows and plays and see how they apply to wrestling. Like for our Golden Lovers episode, I was like, oh, there's a part in this where the lighting on this spot reminds me of like this psychic connection in Dolores Claiborne, but I was talking about a guy doing a backflip off a balcony. So it's fun. It's a really great cross-sectioning of high and lowbrow, which I think is really where a lot of people who reside in our sort of circles of online love to be.
So Rachel, you obviously have a fantastic eye for wrestling and wrestling talent. You see the boys.
Medium. Because the cat is the expert.
But the thing, I feel like you're
look.
natural.
I fucked up. Okay, let's get
They have a natural gift. All right. So you're looking at Jack. You're looking at JDB. What I want to do, I want to make them a tag team. All right. We got Haystacks, Jack Allison.
Okay.
We got the Valley Boy, Jonathan Daniel Brown.
Okay.
What do you think? Are you paying money to see these two badasses?
Use the paying money.
I mean, I think we could like tear up like the Reseda High School auditorium, maybe.
So you guys want to be a tag team? Do you want to be? First of all, the question is what strengths do you want to play to? Do you want to be heels or faces?
They're heels.
We're heels. We have no choice.
We decided they're too good looking to be faces, so they have to be heels.
The thing is that as I'm learning, there can be ugly faces and there can be hot heels.
Whoa.
Yeah. I hope I'm not throwing an axe of chaos into this. I assume you guys are on good terms with the Street Fight guys.
Yeah,
sure.
Okay, I love them. Brian made a really good distillation of wrestling, which is that basically every single wrestling match, the face loves wrestling and the heel has disrespected wrestling, and they have to fight to defend the honor of wrestling. That's every wrestling match. So you guys want to take down wrestling, which makes sense because you guys are pretty leftist. So you want to take down the establishment in its forms. Yeah. So I would definitely make you guys a black bloc team. So one of you is the guy who smashes the windows, and the other one is the one who posts about it online.
So like an Antifa squad?
Yeah, I would either make you guys Antifa, or if you're heels, Black Bloc would be really nice because you already have a great theme for your costumes going.
And what are some antics we could do? We could like tag Vince McMahon's house.
You guys want to go straight to WWE? Okay.
Yeah, why not, right?
I mean, those are the big leagues. Let me think. What would be some good ones? You could definitely do like maybe not Vince. I think I would go with fucking up Vince's limo first. You know, get really literal. I'm sorry, I'm plugging in the computer. I would go with fucking up Vince's limo first, and then you have to fight your opponent with your props. So you could definitely absolutely climb a ladder and then spray paint somebody in the face with it, because there definitely is like spray paint shoots and stuff in wrestling.
Who are like the cops of the wrestling world? Who would be our enemies? Who would be?
They're literally wrestling cops sometimes. Some people there's Super Cop Dick Justice. He's just a Big
Dick
bad-
Justice.
Big Dick Justice. The cops of the wrestling world.
Big boss
Yeah,
man.
who are the
and
narcs?
mounting.
The narcs of the wrestling world are the smarks. So a mark is somebody who buys it in full, who accepts the story is real. And in both mine and Cap's opinion, being a mark is way more fun because you get to have more entertainment. Smarks are the people who, there's such a thing in wrestling called, if I'm, wrestle-splaining, as it were, to people who already know this, I apologize. So marks are the people who are just like, I want to be surprised, I want to be entertained. Smarks are the guys who look up the dirt sheets, basically, or the spoilers for what's going to happen and say, like, all right, you know what? We have Nakamura, we have Roman Reigns, we have Finn Balor, and we have John Cena, and Nakamura is going to win and whatever. And so they kind of spoil it for themselves. So they're kind of narky.
Yeah, I mean, why would you do that? Isn't the whole point of watching, if everybody knows that in the end these are staged performances, why would you spoil it? Like, I don't know, getting upset like it's a baseball game makes no sense. I mean, everyone knows they're fixed, so get into the suspension of disbelief, right?
I get it to a degree in that you have your guy that you love and you want to see him advance and you want to see him kill it. So if you see that, like, say Nakamura is going to win, then that makes you more encouraged to watch it. I can't say I fully agree with it as a way to consume your media, but everybody consumes differently.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that seems like the wrestling equivalent of being like, well, The Sopranos has a whack ending, so don't watch 6 seasons of the best cable TV ever.
And in fact, the ending is good. So
I mean, it's okay. I never want to hear that fucking Journey song again. Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Is that purely due to The Sopranos, or is that like going to karaoke and stuff too?
Oh, it's definitely karaoke too.
It's close to closing time. Can't hear that song ever again.
There's a karaoke place near me that it's like $1 a song, but they charge you extra if it's Queen or Journey, which I really appreciate.
Beautiful.
That's really smart.
They ruined Bohemian Rhapsody. They ruined, every Journey song. I don't know if it's as big of a problem on the East Coast, but the Red Hot Chili Peppers are pretty much dead to me now, thanks to bad karaoke.
What? No, don't tell me.
I love karaoke.
I love karaoke too. Red Hot Chili Peppers aren't as huge of a problem on the East Coast, although I did see somebody recently do an excellent karaoke version of Love Roller Coaster, which was unexpected and hilarious because that's not usually the Red Hot Chili Pepper song people sing at karaoke.
No, it's Californication and Danny California. I mean, I guess we're in California.
Because we're in California.
Yeah, good God. Hey, this is the song that is named after the place I am currently in. God damn it. So you got a movie, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I am currently working on a documentary with my dad, and I'm very lucky that my dad and I get along enough to do this. Is we are making a documentary about gerrymandering, specifically in Pennsylvania, because there's a recently settled. When we first heard about it, my dad had gerrymandering as his pet cause since at least 2000. 2000 is about when I became politically cognizant because of like the Gore Bush election and stuff. And that's when I was starting to, understand what was happening on my TV instead of like just Princess Diana died and blowjob. But my dad was very focused on it. And throughout every election, he was like, this is bullshit. Like, they're taking the power of the vote away. And my dad is very much a liberal guy. He definitely votes blue every time, which is now, problematic for us. But there are way worse dads you can have, right?
Yeah.
So he heard about from my my fundraising efforts that Leslie mentioned earlier, which is that I had a very seat of my pants fundraiser that went off very well using a photo of my roommate's cat. And he was like, hey, how does fundraising on Twitter work? I want to make a movie about gerrymandering. And I was like, kind of cocky about it. And I was like, give me a month. I could easily raise you 10 grand. And he was like, really? what about 20? And I was like, oh, that's kind of pushing it. And he was like, what about 30? And I was like, I need you to back up and tell me what you're trying to rope into here. He told me, so gerrymandering's been his pet cause for a really long time. And he found out about a court case in Pennsylvania specifically that was very interesting to the both of us, because the reason the Pennsylvania case is so interesting and the reason we're going to Pennsylvania is not just because it's geographically convenient, because there's a lot of gerrymandering cases being waged across the country right now. A lot of groups are suing the U.S. Constitution, which is noble but misguided. Because if you're suing the U.S. Constitution and saying my right to vote is being taken away, what is incorrect about that is the Constitution. This is a leftist show. The Constitution is a bad document for a lot of reasons, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But the reason it specifically doesn't work for this is because they wrote it in such non-specific language that the right to vote isn't actually expressly said in the documents. It's amended, but it is not expressively said. So what's interesting about that is the Pennsylvania case is not suing the U.S. Constitution, it's suing the state constitution. And in every state constitution, the following two things are in Loctite language: your right to vote and your right to equal protection. And gerrymandering very much takes away the second along with the first.
Oh, yeah.
And so for years, activists in Pennsylvania have been looking at this on the federal level and not attacking it on the state. And this is the opportunity for people in Pennsylvania to go after the state on this rule.
I don't want to fully speak for activists in Pennsylvania, but this was very much their step to say, okay, we are doing this from a state level. And it was put on by the League of Women Voters, Pennsylvania. And my dad is a member of the League of Women Voters in New York State. And he had already done a documentary in conjunction with a cause with League of Women Voters New York a couple of years ago that had successful results, which was cool. So he already had a taste of winning, which is fun. And so he was like, I want to make this documentary. Can you help me fund it? Can you help me make it? I want to work with you. And we had to go through a lot of back and forth fights about how much money to raise, what the rewards were, how we were going to do this. And then we finally settled on the number, and I spent about 2 months sweating my butt off online every day, begging for donations.
And did you went through crowdfunding mechanisms, or
yeah,
did you?
We did it through Indiegogo.
Great.
Because we felt that if we'd only hit the partial goal, we could still find a way to make a movie with less than what we needed. It would just be really shoestring. But we managed to hit full goal, which was very gratifying. And we are super lucky, and I don't take it for granted.
Now, is this the first feature film your father has made?
No,
my parents met in film school, which is cute, but it's film school in Staten Island. I'm not rich. My dad, before I was born, before he was married to my mom, he made a documentary about alcoholics on Skid Row in the mid 70s, late 70s. I've never seen it. That won a lot of awards. And it was kind of the start of his film career. And then he worked on won a bunch of awards. He got flown out to California. He's like the only person that Chevy Chase has been nice to, because Chevy Chase saw it and presented him with an award and was like, hey, I really liked your movie. And, fast forward to, we find out today that Chevy Chase was racist again, which is, great.
Yeah, but people get surprised by this shit.
Yeah,
I saw Chevy Chase be racist one time in person.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I remember when I worked at Funny or Die, he came in for a meeting, and he called the lady from Community. He said that fat negress is what he said.
Jesus Christ!
A meeting with a bunch of people at Funny or Die.
That is like not just like casually racist. That is extremely racist.
That's like old school. Like
that is.
You guys see the
thing? His real name is Cornelius. That might have something to do with it. Yeah.
Did you guys see the thing today about how when Donald Glover was on set, he would shout like racial slurs at him on Community?
Yeah, I read that.
No, I didn't see that.
It's ridiculous.
It's just not.
I have to say, also, just as a caveat, as an aside, I respect so much how Jack is constantly willing to come out swinging online against LA because you work in the industry and that's hard. And the fact that you're willing to do it, because I don't blame anybody for being scared to rock the boat, but it's really cool that you do what you do.
Well,
I'm a fan of it.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
A lot of what that comes from is that I grew up here, and so if I really get booted out of the industry, I'll just move to my mother's.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, we both grew up in the Valley. We don't really, we like film and TV, but I mean, at least just speaking for myself, I mean, I've already burned most of my bridges. I'm not really acting anymore. I might as well just speak the truth about all the bullshit happening out here, because it's just as bad, and we're not, frankly, as lucky as New York. We don't really have a ton of pushback and a ton of systems in place to protect. I mean,
it's fun to be mean to people in Hollywood, and so thank you. I appreciate
yes.
Yeah. But to continue my ever long yarn, is my dad made that documentary about alcoholics on Skid Row. He worked on a couple movies. I think he worked on a porno, but he used to like definitely confirm it to me, and then I brought it up too much, and he was like, he stopped confirming it. But it was like pretty much he was like a sound guy on a 70s porno, which is funny. And then,
I don't think you lived through the 70s in Los Angeles and don't work on at least.
I mean, the porn had huge budgets back then.
It was Staten Island porn, ma'am.
I thought this was when he got brought out after his documentary.
No, he only got flown out for an award and then went back to Staten Island, or back to New York City.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and then he worked on Tom Hanks's first movie. It's like a ripoff of Halloween. And then he met my mom, and they got married and had two daughters, and they got divorced, and he got his master's degree, which is usually the pattern. And then he made a documentary a couple years ago, like 10 years ago, 12 years ago, that I helped him out with a little bit, but he made it when I was 17 to 19. So I was mostly interested in seeing bad bands and like drinking terrible beer at the time. But the last political documentary he did before we started working on this one was it was called Bought and Sold, and it was when New York State was going to implement electronic voting machines, and they were going to vote in ones with no paper trail. And my dad was like, "What? No, we are still dealing with the fallout of the 2000 election and paper trail. What the fuck are we doing?" And he just was like, who is making these machines? Who's programming them? Like, how easy are they to fuck with? And he just basically got on camera and went in and fucked with electronic voting machines with no paper trail. And he got every legislator who was going to vote for them look like such idiots on camera that they had to vote for the one with the paper trail.
Wow.
But he won.
Well, that's how it works, though.
So your dad one time worked on an actual porn, and then he worked on What Is Porn to Me, making officials look stupid. Well, that's great. That's some cool shit. Your father's done some cool stuff.
But
Yeah,
Rachel,
I
and
mean,
you're
like,
doing.
I know.
But
Sorry.
Rachel, you're doing some cool stuff. WrestleSplania. So how can
WrestleSplania
people?
is really fun.
So how can people find WrestleSplania?
WrestleSplania, it's best to find us either on SoundCloud, where all of our episodes are. We only have 4 up. Our 5th one is going up on Thursday. And you can follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/WrestleSplania. We're on Instagram, but we haven't really done anything with that yet. We have a Twitch channel because we did a sort of an experiment last weekend where we woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning and live streamed Japanese wrestling, and it rocked. And then I had a terrible sleep schedule. I'm still trying to fix my sleep schedule after that. So we're on Twitch at WrestleSplania, maybe not super legally streaming some stuff. We are on Twitter. We're on Instagram. You can follow both Kath and I on Twitter if you want. So that's how you can find us. We're on iTunes. I think we're on basically every single store that you can get on. And if we're not, tell us and we'll find a way to get onto it, unless it's like $1 million, you know?
Thank you so much, Rachel. We really appreciate it.
Thank you guys for having me. And I caught the promo that was cut earlier, and I agree. Like, you guys deserve to be paid for your content. There's a insanely regressive backlash against giving creators money voluntarily, and we all witness it online, and it's grody and silly.
I mean, it's Silicon Valley. I was talking to one of my friends who's a musician, and he told me, one day songs just became 99 cents, and that was it. There was nothing we could do about it.
Yeah.
It's like Apple said, a song is 99 cents, and that's how much your music is worth, and you better take it. That's it.
Yes, Rachel was actually referencing like the left, well, not leftists, but people who say they're leftists and like have a backlash against leftists trying to like eat and live and pay rent.
Well, look, that's really funny to me because capitalism isn't opt out. I would love to fucking opt out of it. I would love to not ask for fucking money. Are you kidding me? I hate money. It sucks, but like it's not really a choice. You have to eat. I mean, it's raining outside. If we didn't ask for money, I would just go outside and I guess sit down on the ground. I wouldn't have anywhere to go.
It's also silly, and this is not really with regard to us, but with like the larger sort of people on the left shaming people about their Patreon amounts and stuff like that. It's like, like even like the top media stars, quote unquote, and like the sort of leftist
Patreon world
are like not making even like near what Chris Cillizza makes.
Right. They're making a fraction of Joanne Reed.
Smallest fraction of what Chris Cillizza can expect to make every single year. So I don't know.
Jake Tapper
just doesn't have his fucking his annual income on a webpage that you can go look at.
CNN pays Jake Tapper $12 million a year.
Jesus.
And see, that's why we're pivoting to professional wrestling.
That's where the money is.
That's our niche. That's our niche. We I don't want to spend any more time on that sort of knee-jerk blowback than necessary. Kath and I have gotten shit for a hypothetical Patreon.
Yes.
We don't even have one yet. I want to launch one when we have like a certain number of episodes out and a certain assurance of we are making a quality product that people like.
Rachel, never apologize for the Patreon.
I said day one we're putting it out there because you're gonna get shit for it anyway. I might as well be getting shit while I'm getting paid.
That's fair. True. Maybe I don't know. I just don't want people. And it's very silly that I care about this at all. That anybody might think that I'm like just sitting there with my hand out. But
right.
The other thing is that like. The part that that makes other people jealous, I assume, and those are like a very small amount of people. And the only reason Cav and I gave them any attention at all is because in wrestling, haters make you famous. It's just like you get heel heat. That's all there is to it. It's heel heat is real. Is that the reason they're mad? Is that it's a really fun thing to make. We are having a great time doing it. Oh,
yeah. You get to openly actually talk about things that interest you rather than, like, I don't know, selling fucking light bulbs or not. If anyone here sells light bulbs, I'm not trying to denigrate you. That shit's boring.
I really, it's not that I turn my nose up at, a regular job or doing the boring shit or like putting in the light bulbs for a living. That's great. We put in a lot of time, we put in a lot of effort, we put in a lot of care, but like, I love doing this. And like, I'm not making any money off of it. I'm having a great time. I'm happy you guys have found any income from this at all. And good for you. I hope more people find a way to do that.
Yeah. So we got the Rachel Millman endorsement is what you're saying.
Thank you, Rachel.
I'm cutting the promo right now.
So I just want to say, I'm going to take these boys, I'm going to get them into shape. I'm going to make them a championship tag team. And when that happens, I want a WrestleSplainia episode about the Hollywood lovers, Haystack Jack and Valley Boy, Jonathan Bride.
Are you their valet?
But he's our manager.
No, manager.
Well, a manager and valet, the manager would be great.
Used to be the
do you like, Leslie? Do you like WWE or do you like smaller stables and stuff? Or what do you like?
My thing is Joshi Pro Res, like what Japanese women's wrestling. That's my shit. That's what I love.
Haven't delved into that yet. I'm just starting to open up women's wrestling in WWE. And like those women are incredible. I really enjoy everything I've learned about them so far. But the problem is that I can't dive in full because what people have said that they like about our show is the fact that I'm enthusiastic and not jaded yet, and I don't want to become jaded. So I have to like hide away and wait until I can learn about like Mickey and Alexis and stuff. And so far I have Sasha Banks, who rules, but I don't know anything else about them yet. And I can't wait to do our Asuka episode because Asuka rocks.
Okay, so I know her personally, like for real. I know she wrestled as Kana in Japan. Like I was the first person who interviewed her in English ever. Like she's a fantastic wrestler, great person.
That's awesome.
Like she's my homie. I'm really happy for her and her success in WWE. I'll send you some links to some matches so you can see that real shit where she's like, you know, headbutting herself until she's bloody and shit like that. Which you won't see in WWE.
Yeah, I went to my first live match a couple weeks ago, and there was a dude with like blood coming out of his chest and stuff, and I was like, "This rocks!"
Yes.
And what's also another pitch for Jack and Jonathan for wrestling is that there are wrestlers who are flat out leftists. Like Zack Sabre Jr. knows Jeremy Corbyn.
Really?
Shit. Yeah. So he the first ever live show I went to, the only one I've been to so far, there were people chanting Zack Sabre Jr. at him, and he was clearly like getting pumped up from it. And we met him afterward and immediately started talking to him about Single Payer, which I'm sure is like one of 1,000 people at wrestling shows coming up to him and being like, "Zach, I also want to look here."
I would love to see him body slam Nigel Farage. That would,
I think he would like to do that too, frankly. But it's fun. Wrestling's fun. It's like the world's on fire. Like, have a good time watching a dude kill another dude with a phone book.
Absolutely.
I'm pretty convinced.
Yeah, Rachel Millman at Rachel Millman, WrestleSplania at WrestleSplania. Check them out, support them. It's a great show. You'll love it. Thank you so much for coming on, Rachel.
Thank you guys for having me. Have a nice day or night. Bye.
Yeah, bye. Thanks so much.
Thanks.
All right, wasn't that fantastic? We get the good guests here on stage.
We sure do, Leslie.
This has been quite the telethon tonight.
It's been a hell of a theme too. A lot of smacking down, a lot of
I feel like I'm pretty close to making a decision here, but I'm not ready to.
The next guest I'm working on her. She is a huge star. I'm still, working on her, but I was thinking maybe we go back. Maybe I brought you too close talking about the blood and the gore and the fact that you're gonna have to cut your heads open a bit. Maybe I'll just lull you back into security. Maybe we should play some Skullgirls.
Don't you? Oh yeah, I'd be down. Don't you have to like actually cut yourself with a knife when you wrestle at something? Like
it's not the wrestler. Yeah, it's not a knife. It's you have like a little razor and just nick your forehead to bleed, and then you like blow so that the blood comes out. You like blow without blowing.
Yeah, totally healthy and normal.
It's actually not that big a deal. The only thing is if you do it enough, you'll end up with like scars on your head. But like it's really not that big a deal. Almost every wrestler has done it once or twice. It's not it's not a super intense thing. You're not gonna die from bleeding from your forehead, generally speaking.
I was on set once and I accidentally sliced open the top of my head with like a giant beer glass, and like the set medic had to come and pour liquid bandage all over my head, and I had to spend like a half an hour. Yeah, actually shit sucks a lot. Like when you cut your forehead, when you cut slightly above your forehead, you bleed a lot. The forehead itself is probably fine. What do I know? I don't do this all the time. I just did it once, and it was an accident, and it really hurt. But remember, I'm a coward.
I don't think you're a coward.
Oh.
Okay, so should we go to versus here?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's the mode. And I'm just DMing our guests.
Okay.
So
should we do online match? How do I do this?
Look,
Should we just do
it locally? Should we just do it locally with each other?
Let me see. No, we can do it online.
Go play, fight each other. What are you fucking talking about?
Oh, it's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll invite you.
All right.
Shit, I have to. I don't have a mouse over here. Is the problem? That's why I keep getting up.
Oh, that's
I have
okay.
to like go back over to the computer.
That's okay. We can talk a little bit. We haven't really. Oh yeah, I was just thinking. By the way, CWW, right? He's a lawyer. He's told me. Maybe he can get in touch with Rachel, and you know he's in. I believe he's in Pennsylvania. Maybe I don't know. Just an idea. It's really cool to see all you guys hanging out in the chat room and talking. We haven't really. I haven't done a solid job of acknowledging you guys, and I hope you're not angry at me. We have been very guest heavy. Okay, so
We're in a room with a bunch of people.
yeah, who are these
How did I
people
not do that?
in your lobby?
What did I do here? Did I fuck up?
Yeah, now we're just in a lobby with a bunch of people.
Okay. So what am I supposed to do? Should I like leave it?
Yeah, leave it and start.
It's
You
not
start like.
working. Okay, fuck.
Oh no, we're losing it. We're losing it. Ah! I got movie.
Let's see.
I got Movie Pass, by the way. I was like, I don't want to give Hollywood money directly anymore. I know it's some vulture shithead like VC tech guys, but like they'll pay Hollywood. I won't. Yeah, lifestyleism. That's my shit. You know, I think a lot about like no such thing as ethical capitalism, and like weirdly, it actually brings me a tiny bit of comfort because there are people, especially liberals, who will spend all of their time finding out like the exact history of everything they've bought. And while I think that's a good thing to do to a point, like I don't know, like eventually, like I'm gonna accidentally get some toilet paper made by the Koch brothers or something, and they're all shitty. They're all shitty, and to, you know, a lot of people who said that I did, you know, it was lifestylist of us not to be that into Last Jedi because we don't like Disney, and well, they're right. That is, I don't like Disney, and I don't want to support them. But you know, if you do want to,
People say that we're lifestylists.
I've heard that before.
What does that even mean?
Like the idea, like that you actually, you know, well, if you actually choose which kind of capitalism is good and which is bad, that's pointless. This is why I shouldn't read the Chapo Trap House subreddit anymore. It's kind of, I struggle sometimes to comprehend everything going on there. It's so big now.
All right, I see you sent me another invite, so
Let's see if it works.
Corman's Inferno says great for the Egyptian theater. Corman's been on fire lately. He you know, he posted some great comics in the Discord.
All right, I think
He's
we're
one of
good
the-
here. Actually.
Okay, you guys are ready?
yeah,
We're
I'm
we're
gonna
ready.
watch you. So, Skullgirls is, as who mentioned it in the chat room? It's sexy street fighters. Correct.
Yeah, I mean, so better, of course.
So,
right?
well, but I mean, Street Fighter Chun-Li's not. You know, Blanca's a
I'm gonna do
good-looking
3
dude.
characters.
He's green. She's got a green body. Okay, so anyway, forget Capcom for a minute. Ms. Fortune, I like
Can I put
that.
up the sound for a second? I'll do that too.
Can they hear?
They'll be able to hear after I do this.
Dark Omen, Reddit, not even once. Met Goji said horny. Oh, cool. That's great to hear, CWW. That's awesome. I'm glad that you guys already had that connect.
All right. Okay, here we
The
go.
word was
Sorry.
horny. I apologize, Mecha Gojira. I really do. That's why you shouldn't read subreddits. I mean, look, the truth is that Reddit is, I mean, if you wanted a better way to like capture a bunch of like disaffected young dudes and push them towards really fucked up ways of thinking, I can't think of any better way to do it than Reddit.
Okay.
Oh, the art style in this game is cool. It's
cool.
hand drawn. Okay. Have you played this before?
I just did the tutorial like before.
Oh, so
Yeah.
you did the tutorial, so you cheated.
Oh, that's cheating?
Yeah.
You've
I'm going
never
to-
played this?
No, I'm going in blind.
Oh, okay.
This definitely looks like
Do
I get
have-
like it feels a little deviant arty, and I
Yeah,
don't say
yeah.
that as an
It is.
insult.
It's
It's
a little-
it's like Deviant Art,
It's
the
a
fighting
little,
game.
Mega Tokyo or
Where's
something.
your head? Did
I like took it off as a move. I don't know. I don't know like no moves. I just know.
Yeah,
There we
so
go.
you
Can I pick it up?
No.
Well, yeah, you just move the head. Are all the characters like cat girls? Is that also part of the deal?
Yeah.
Oh
they're,
no! Yeah.
They're skull girls. My apologies.
Beautiful feline women.
Oh, if you think this game has beautiful feline women, wait till you see the other game we got on the Humble Bundle.
Reddit is like
Really?
grad school for YouTube commenters. That's very funny, Captain North. Trevor Drinkwater mentioned earlier I should name my wrestling character after a movie I acted in. I think that's a bad idea.
What movie?
Yeah,
Kid
it should be
Cannabis?
called the Project X. That's the perfect finish name.
No, Kid Cannabis and Projects, neither of those make sense for wrestling.
No,
Oh,
Project X, calling it a finishing move Project X is good. I
Yeah,
like
but
it.
it's also Project X is such a vague. They shouldn't have called. I guess Project X sounded cooler than like really big teen party, but it
That's
doesn't
what it
really.
was called in China, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it was banned in China. I know it was banned in Malaysia, which is actually kind of cool. Like, oh, I was in a movie that was actively banned for being transgressive. There is something fun about that. I mean,
Am I
that's
a
cool.
Nazi? I believe
Yeah.
I'm a Nazi right now.
well, how can you tell?
I'm attracted. Well, she has
Yeah,
a red
some kind of
armband.
Red armband on.
Oh yeah, that's kind of Nazi-like. Just slightly.
Like I just think I just threw like SS Trooper on a motorbike.
I would love to do an episode one day where I talk about all of these like weird like Nazi exploitation like sex films like Ilsa She-Wolf of the
Yes,
SS and that
Ilsa.
shit. Like these are like it is weird how we have like there is something
Oh,
horny
wow,
about the
really?
way we look at the Nazis now. And this is just
Al, you didn't get the Dragon Ball game, did you?
No,
Dark
I can't
Dark Omen.
afford it. I would love to get it, but
SMH.
a little bit expensive. It's still
Yeah. Okay.
Wah!
Fair enough.
Mike, knock her
It
over.
is an extremely expensive game for like 9 Gokus fighting against each other. It's all Gokus. Okay, I'm gonna play as Misfortune.
Whoa.
All right, you can play actually.
Okay,
Let's
yeah.
go
I
on.
mean, I've
Sorry,
never
go back.
played. Okay,
Oh shit. Well, I think I fucked you up.
you fucked me up. Well,
Can you hit B to go back?
oh yeah. Well, if I hit B to go back, it says, "Do you want to?
Oh really?
This is the team you want."
Okay. Well, I don't know.
All right, whatever. I'll just play. Are you sure this is the team you want? I've never played Skullgirls. That's very funny. Are Indivisible? Is it like the same art style, Cormans? Is it is just like hand drawn? Keaton says that Chevy Chase got into a fight with a cab driver a couple of weeks ago. It does not surprise me. I mean, he's like well known as an extremely unpleasant man. I mean, say what you will about Fletch, but if that's the I love Chinatown, right? And Roman Polanski's a monster.
Right.
I love The Godfather, and I'm getting some kind of lag in the game where it's not totally responding to my input, and I'm just getting murdered now.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
Yeah, blame the lag.
OBS. That's my bad.
wait. Oh no, this is Jack's fault actually.
That's my bad. I was trying to fuck with OBS.
He was messing with
I was
OBS.
trying
I
to see
still
if we could
can't.
get the
I still
sound.
can't move.
What?
Yeah, I can't move.
That's
God damn it.
true.
God damn it.
Huh. Okay.
A Shia super soldier. Well, the Iron Sheik, yeah. I mean, here's the thing. Like, we're not in that like
Here,
Cold
try
War
to-
Iran. Yeah, here we go. Now I'm moving. Great, let's go. The Iron Sheik feels like totally. I mean, we it's got to be, it's got to be something in like Aleppo, right? Like it's got to be like the freedom fighter.
No, the
Like the
thing
to-
is now Russians again now.
It is Russians again. Well, no, now it's school shooters. I mean, but you can't have that in a wrestling match. It's kind of weird how it almost feels as if the recent Democratic push against the NRA, which is well deserved. It's kind of like we're kind of stopped talking about Russia. I mean, not totally, but it's definitely you see the media, how the media works. They can only really talk about one topic at a time.
Yeah, it's time right now. It's time to believe teens. It's all
Yeah.
about believing teens, and
Well, and part of me is like almost
I'm
like a
here
little
for it, I
jealous. Like
guess.
when I was like a teenager, like, parents weren't telling us to rebel against George W. Bush, even though they should have been. And so that is maybe a good sign that but I'm so deeply cynical at this point. I need like concrete proof any of this fucking matters before I commit, which is deeply cynical. Although I do think Aubrey had a point that, like, look, there's a lot of people on the left who are just gonna we're gonna be like, yeah, fuck it, take all the guns, and I don't even know like what I don't have any guns. I don't care about them.
Are you determined to talk about guns on this Twitch
No.
stream today?
It's the thing, man. It's the thing. That's
It's
the
not-
topic
it's
America has to
not.
talk about.
We do not have to talk about
We
it.
are slaves to the algorithm.
No, yeah, well, I'm not a slave to the algorithm.
All right.
Nobody's on the Twitch algorithm like being like Second Amendment talk.
So let's see. Yeah, I wouldn't say that it's porny, Noam Dronsky, because they're not scantily clad, really. They all have like pretty elaborate outfits. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like
There's a couple of it.
fine here. I mean, that's
But that's
pretty.
fine. That's fine. That's fine. You can have.
Okay, yeah, whatever Leslie says.
Like it's fine. It's fine. Like
I want to be more than one, though. I guess I can't.
The Skull Girls.
no, you pick how many you be at the
I
start.
know, but you can't go back. I think.
Yeah.
B, you can't do anything. Wow. Okay.
Hey, Leva. When I was a teen, hey, like your mom was smart. I mean, look, we've been at war since I was 12 years old. I am now 28. Like we've been at war for 16 years, and it is perpetual. And there is no one. There seems to be no interest and public support determined to end it. And maybe that's because we don't have the draft and it's a volunteer army, and it's maybe because we don't see the coffins coming back from Afghanistan and Iraq. We don't see the devastation of our policy in Yemen. We hear about them, we read about them, we'll see like TV reports, but we don't actually see it. I mean, unless you're like actively on Live Leak or something, and even then you're still getting. We're never going to see the full picture because it's just too much carnage and the Pentagon wouldn't allow it. I mean, we learned.
Oh, Leslie.
One very powerful character is a good pick.
Well, okay. Does it like?
It makes
it more powerful.
Yeah.
See, that is pretty good.
Boom, boom, volleyball.
Because I don't know how to tag yet, so.
How do you tag? I can't remember. Oh no, it's like too heavy or something. Fuck. Okay, so I think if you do A and B, if you're on like a oh, maybe not actually. Shit.
That's true, Mecha Gojira. I mean, there was massive protests
Oh goddamn!
during the original invasion of Iraq. We had a coalition of centrists and leftists who are all against the war, but the centrists gave up really fast, is the truth. I mean, it was a weird kind of like era where you had like Noam Chomsky and like Marcos Molitsas hanging out together, but it couldn't last because in the end, the Democrats fell in line and accepted that, the surveillance state isn't going anywhere, that there is benefit to having all of our data consoled. And that was a really cool special move. Sorry, I am easily distracted.
Oh my god!
I remember when I was at community college, Mecha Gojira at Pierce Community College in Woodland Hills. I remember seeing the free speech zones get installed, and it was very strange because it's like people aren't even like doing it. I mean, it's a community college. There aren't huge protests here, but every campus in the world seemed to get in one of these things, and and you sort of saw it with the gentrification of the internet as like more and more of these big websites shut down their message boards and comment sections and community sections and basically went like, oh, you guys can just talk on Twitter or talk on Facebook. And that just created a sort of a concentration of of acceptable conversation outlets online. And I see that as part of sort of the suppression of the internet's original sort of open forum. Wow. Okay, here we go. This is a tough one, actually. This is a very slow character, but very strong. Kind of, I guess, is like the Goro or something of this game. She like keeps her body is like completely insane. Like I don't mean that like in a whoa, her body's insane way. I mean like she just turned into like a fist with teeth.
Yeah, she's kind of badass.
It's pretty bonkers.
She turns into all the other characters.
I am
This is a cool ass game.
deeply mesmerized by the what is this character's name?
Double.
Double. It's fun. This is a fun game, and whoa, and the hand drawn style is cool. Aubrey was mentioning that what was the name? I'm drawing a blank. The artist who was getting trolled by diversity in comics before idiot Kurt Eichenwald stepped in. She had a comic about like he said something. Michelle. So Michelle had a comic about like some kind of like a furry thing.
Yes.
That's cool. I haven't actually seen like what was the last like I guess I read Mouse Guard, which was really good. And then like as a kid, I used to read these books called like Redwall by this like dude named Brian Jock, and it was just a medieval fantasy world with like mice and like crows and owls, and the main character was this. Oh, you won? Oh no, I won! Wow.
No, I won.
No, you won.
Oh yeah, you're right. You won. Okay. Yeah, we have a few corporate out. Okay. Well, you want to write? Here you go.
Sure.
I remember the pre-internet days of BBSs when being online was highly localized. You had awesome communities, meetups, etc. I mean, look, so do I. I mean, it's a weird thing to see kind of the full effect of what Facebook, Google, Twitter, and Amazon have done to the infrastructure of the web, and Reddit too, to an extent. There are just a kind of a few places where you're allowed to talk, and that's kind of it.
Yeah, we get into this on the upcoming Felix episode that you will have in your ears tomorrow, folks.
That's right.
If you're a subscriber, right?
Yes,
that's
subscriber
right.
only.
Chill. If you don't subscribe to the Struggle Session podcast yet, now would be a good time to do it because we have a very big episode coming up tomorrow.
Yes, it's an exciting time.
Felix Biederman of the Chapo Trap House podcast. It's
you might have heard of it,
folks. It's a great episode. So if you're not a member of the Patreon, now might be the time to do it. Now might be the time.
Yeah, now is the time to do it to them. We do these strugglethons at the end of every month because a lot of people drop off. They make a mistake. They say, you know what, I'm done. I'm tapping out. I'm gonna get my bonus episodes and then I'm gonna quit before I get charged.
The charge happens. Yeah,
it's the dip.
But you don't want to do that. You want that bonus episode that's coming tomorrow. You don't want the chance that your podcatcher is going to delete it before you have a chance to listen to it.
And we might with this one we might just delete.
Because
this one might be a 1-day promo.
Yeah, because people are going to get really mad just because we have someone from Chapo. Because people are always mad at Chapo, and so we may just post it for like 1 day and then that'll be it. Like nothing else.
I will say that and as we've mentioned this a couple of times, like if you truly are like, I am dead broke, I cannot afford this, to support this podcast. Yeah, it's fine. Like send us an email and we'll hook it up. We're not monsters, but like be realistic about
that's not what tonight's about.
Right. Tonight's a fundraiser.
But but it's important to say like we do. If you can't afford it, we don't lock anybody out. We never will.
Look
until we get bought out by like I don't know, Fusion maybe.
Yeah, but if Fusion buys us out, then I'll just put everything on torrent like right before.
That's fair.
It gets up on like some weird website.
I mean, this is how podcasts do it. Like this is how our generation does it. When you look at boomers, they have $100 plate dinners for whatever function they need supported. We're not putting on any dinners. We're just playing video games.
I'm gonna grab some dinner after this.
I'll get dinner too.
But not before our very special guest comes on, who is actually grabbing dinner right now. So that's why she's not here yet.
Oh,
okay. That's great. This is exciting. I hope everyone remains excited.
Well, the thing is, we have to just keep making these streams longer and longer. I think we've been doing ourselves a bit of disservice. We do like an hour, 90 minutes, but like the sweet spot in a stream is like, 2-3 hours in.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like really. Like I'm not even joking. Like if you look at the stats and it's like if you're not doing at least like 3 hours, it doesn't even count as a stream. It's like,
Really?
It's like
Three?
it's like you posted a GIF, basically.
Oh wow.
Three?
Yeah, look at the big streamers like they.
Well, I mean, they go like
Whoa!
all
I
night
won. I won.
stream,
Actually,
right?
that was me winning.
no,
Oh,
you didn't
Not
win.
really you winning.
No, I just took out one of the characters.
I want to
now-
switch the character here after this. So
Oh, now I lost.
okay, that's a wrap.
Serviceable.
Okay, let's see.
I just want to point out that my reputation as the strongest gamer among Struggle Session remains.
Okay.
In terms of fighting
I want to
games,
say
you're
yeah,
better
like,
at fighting games than
specifically
us.
with fighting games.
I'm not gonna
It's
come
the
back on
purest.
it.
What's the is the purest?
Oh, it's the
Have you
purest?
you played any Breath of the Wild lately?
Oh, come on.
Yeah, how about PUBG? Actually, how about that?
PUBG. All you have to do is hide. I mean,
That's
let's be
not
real.
true.
No,
That is
that's
true.
not
It's
fair.
definitely true in the other one. What's the one? The other
Fortnite.
Yeah, Fortnite. All you have to do is hide, and you can get.
Did you play Fortnite? Have you
five.
played Fortnite?
Oh, yeah, I played it a bit. Like all you have to do is hide, and you get like top 10 at least. Like I watch my wife do it all the time, and she doesn't even like actively hide. She outthinks herself and picks like this really obscure spot on the map, and then she just spends like the next like 20 minutes running into the circle, but she's so far away from everyone else, she never confronts them, and she ends up in like the top 5. Like she's good, you know. So I want to have my wife on because she's a high tier Don't Starve player. She has some really interesting takes about it.
I mean, yeah, we played one time, and I was like, she's a pro Don't Starve player. You know, like she's not fucking around when it comes to Don't Starve.
Still don't totally get Don't Starve. Not gonna lie, it was a deeply baffling game to me. But I
Well,
also
it's in the title. It's,
Don't Starve. No, I
Pretty
get
much
that.
The game.
Someone in the chat asked if we were going to talk about Kingdom Come. Upcoming episode, we sure
talk
do.
about that in an upcoming episode.
We got an upcoming episode where we talk all about the games we've been playing.
Of course, as you might expect, the take is we think it's good. It is true. No, I mean, you know, we don't think
Good game,
And actually,
good game,
it's not
bad
that
people.
Good, really, it's not even that good a game.
I mean, that's like
It's interesting. It's interesting as a game for sure.
I kind of like it's kind of interesting that like that you know you have like a multi-million-dollar game like basically made by developers who sound like newgrounds.com like posters, but
well, that's like what you know, indie games in some ways is that, you know.
Yeah.
What I mean?
yeah, no, I mean you got to admire. It's kind of weird because it's like with indie gaming you can't like pretend
Okay,
it's
there we go. Leslie,
you won.
You win some, you lose some.
at the
Okay.
purest form of gaming too.
I lost one match. Wow.
What- can I ask you?
All
All right, here we go. I'm gonna 3 normal powered, 1 super powerful. I'm gonna do 1 super powerful. I like that you can, yeah. Parasol. Parasol. Hey, do you know what your
working properly? But
do you know what your guest is having? What the guest is having for dinner by any chance?
Oh,
El?
yeah,
No,
what
she
you
didn't
eating?
tell me.
that could be one of the questions we asked.
Yeah, what are you
It was
eating
on.
right now? All right, 1 very strong character versus 2 strong characters. So where are the gentlemen in this game? I don't see them.
Well, it's called Skull Girls.
I know, but it says ladies and gentlemen. It
You
doesn't
have, to
say-
get, you have to get DLC, and there's a guy. And people actually got kind of mad when they put in the
Oh, really?
Why?
because it's called Skull Girls.
They don't want no dudes in there. Okay, you just keep, oh man, long range attacks.
You have them too.
Oh yeah, no, I just got to figure them out. See, so
It's so
whoa,
much like Goku in actual Dragon Ball. My only goal is to be the strongest, specifically in the world of Dragon Ball.
Parasol
So I'm
look-
gonna say right now, Leslie, that you'll never beat me at that game.
Oh,
I'm gonna
okay.
spend-
All right.
I'm gonna spend all the time.
You heard it here, folks.
I'm gonna spend it.
Never,
many-
I'm
spend
never
many
gonna
months
be him in
until it
Dragon.
goes on sale.
Folks, Patreon.com/struggle session. If we get to 2,000 tonight,
I mean, look.
before the end of the month, I will buy that Dragon Ball game so I can whoop
Oh,
Jack's
shit.
ass in it.
Okay.
Look, I will
okay,
say
well,
that like when we get to our goal where we can all buy our own gaming PCs, like we'll be doing streams and gaming together all the time because that's one of my favorite things to do is the game. So if I can do it,
it's ostensibly it's basically the only thing I do.
yeah, I mean, so if we have it so that we can have our system
This
set
one,
up where we can stream anytime.
I want to choose my character. Oh, I don't want to be the Nazi. Parasol.
Nazi's pretty
Paras-
good. actually.
Parasol also looks like
Right.
Tifa. She looks like Nazi Tifa, like from FF7, which is kind of
Who
weird
I think
because
is also in Kingdom Hearts, which I'm playing.
okay, so you're just playing Kingdom Hearts 1 right now? or
I
you just-
haven't like been playing it that much, but
How far did you get into Kingdom Hearts?
I got past like the first
Twilight
I
Town?
went to I think I went to Hercules's world.
Okay, sure.
I went to Alice in Wonderland world.
No, it's
No, I mean,
Hercules, Greece. It's not Greece.
It's like a world. Every Disney place has its own world, so it's not.
It's
Hercules.
a world where
I'm not calling Greece Hercules world.
it was nice to see. It was nice to see mega Trump supporter James Woods as Hades make a return in these games.
You know, Dan Castellaneta plays Genie, and he's pretty good actually.
Yeah, he played Genie after in the second one, right?
Oh, really? Okay.
So after Aladdin, Robin Williams turned down the Genie for Aladdin 2. And then for the third Aladdin movie, which was also direct to video, they hired Robin Williams. And I remember the big like VHS ad was like Robin Williams
I'm gonna play
returns.
another one because you chose, you didn't let me choose my character. So
Robin Williams
another
returns
one.
as the Genie, and that was huge.
Yeah, it was.
Aladdin and it was like the King of Thieves.
And
was-
so what else did I do? I did. I just got to the whale that Pinocchio was in. That's
Oh,
what
yeah.
I just got to.
Is the Pirates of the Caribbean world is in the second one, I think.
I don't know. I
Yeah.
haven't been to it certainly.
Do you feel like do you enjoy it? Like it's not bad, right? I mean, I haven't played it since I was like 13.
Square Enix games are good, and I am playing the one that like they just released on PS4, which is I believe
HD.
It's Kingdom Hearts Final Mix is what it's called.
Oh, so does it
and
like
so it's
fix
like
the shitty camera and stuff?
Yeah, the camera is fixed. The combat is, I think, a little bit. I don't know, a little better or something.
All right, I just want to welcome Cadence Terminus Studios here. He has his own really cool Twitch stream where he doesn't play games, but he makes like do-it-yourself Chewbacca masks. So
Oh, really?
Whoa.
yeah, it's
That's
really
awesome.
cool. Yeah,
Well, here's to
Yeah,
Chewbacca.
really great
and
guy, really nice guy. Like,
Chewbacca, you know, is he's an immigrant leftist gorilla who helped destroy one of the.
Yeah,
Sure,
what
he's
is- what is-
from
what is-
Kashyyyk. He
yeah,
doesn't. He does.
I was gonna say,
Tatooine is
where
not
does
his
he live
home.
permanently. You know what I mean? Is there immigration really in Star Wars?
I don't.
Well, I think
so.
everybody under the thumb of the Empire has to deal with like whatever checkpoints, imperial,
Well, sure, but that's just
imperial
like,
I have
holdups.
to
and
say, like the Empire is probably less aggressive about like immigration than our real life.
well, because
I
that's
am
because
very
they conquered the entire galaxy. You don't need to worry about immigration when there's only one government.
I mean, yeah. Are you an immigrant? Like, if you travel from one country on Tatooine to another?
It just Tatooine even have countries on. It's all the
Yeah.
Empire. It's all just stormtroopers
Yeah.
everywhere.
But no, there aren't stormtroopers everywhere on Tatooine. They're like in some place. They're not everywhere all the time.
Well, they're like cops, They show up at the worst possible time to make everything worse. Like cops are not everywhere, but they want you to feel like they're everywhere. The presence is felt in your everyday interactions.
I'm
mean,
just
I would
saying, Empire is better than the United States government. That's all I'll say.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I agree with that. I would rather live under the Empire.
Oh, you're out of your
What?
fucking
Like,
mind.
Are
I
you?
don't want to live
serious?
on the. I don't want my like uncle and aunt. Well, that's assuming I'm Luke Skywalker. Very cocky.
Yeah. But
I-
for the average person,
For the average person, like you are lucky if you are not like torn to shreds by a pack of Jawas while just walking down the street. It also depends. Like I wouldn't mind living in Cloud City. That would be dope.
yeah.
Like that's
Oh,
your.
man.
I wouldn't mind living in a. I don't know, but like Hoth, that sucks. Don't put
Nobody
me
lives
there.
on Hoth, though. That's the point. Nobody lives there.
But it's an ice
All right,
planet.
you can go.
They made
Okay.
their.
I do want to just say that I beat Leslie right then.
Oh please! You get one on me every so often when you play as the.
I got 2 in a row when I play as the characters I like.
I'm just picking random characters.
The character you like is the Nazi.
I didn't choose the Nazi. I chose the nurse.
Okay.
But that's, you can call it Nazi nurse. Sometimes they can be both.
In the chat room, just pointing out that Luke Skywalker lives on a plantation. They own slaves. I didn't pick that up.
Does Luke Skywalker, like
droids are? Well, I mean, it depends on whether you what you think about like the autonomy of droids, really, and whether or not droids can be slaves.
Yeah, like there's a lot of people with a lot of hot takes about droids, like in real life. Like every time there's an article about sex robot or whatever, people are like, wow, this is gonna be like an issue with consent. I'm like,
not yet.
Like,
no,
I don't think they have that technology yet. Like they can.
I mean, if you put Wi-Fi in your fleshlight, no, you are not like a sex criminal. You're just like interested in I don't know, jacking off to the cloud.
Yeah,
what do they do with that data is the bigger question. with these, it's called teledildonics, the field of electronic dildos. What do you do with that data? That's a real word, teledildonics. I want to know what Silicon Valley does with that. Are they going to find out how long men last, or
what they will do with that information is just try to find a way to sell you soap a little bit better.
Right.
That is all they ever want to do with any of this information. They are building these giant databases of human information, and the most imagination anyone has to do with it. And we should be thankful for this. But the most imagination anyone has is just to try to sell you a T-shirt with it.
Did I just turn into a ball of yarn?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
and capture you.
Totally normal. Oh man.
That's a wrap.
Decisive. Brutal. So this is made by Americans. It's not actually made in Asia, right? This is not a.
No, I'm pretty sure it's a American game, indie game, very indie. I think it's like just a very small team, but really? It's very. I think it's very good. Like it's.
I'm enjoying it. I'm very no. That's the thing that impresses me is the flow of the movement in the game. There's no choppiness at all. It's buttery smooth.
Okay.
It's a fighter game. Like the tutorial is really in depth. So I've heard. I didn't actually play it.
Jack would know. He did.
Well, I started doing it, and then I found it too in depth, so I stopped.
It's so difficult. Heavy is the crown of the fighter. Oh, you saw Annihilation, right, Leslie?
Yes, I saw it.
Did you see it in theaters, or it's not on Netflix? It's in theaters right now, right? It's just coming to Netflix in a month.
Yeah, it's a real movie.
Should I wait or should I pay for it?
You should get a sound bar, and then watch or speakers, and then
Because you think do you say that from having been to?
Yeah, and I don't have a good speaker. I don't have speakers. I just have the TV speakers.
My sound bar at my house is not working properly, but I don't watch TV out there, so.
Where do you watch TV?
On my computer, pretty much. I don't watch TV that often, but mostly on my computer.
What have I been watching lately? I don't even know.
I'm watching some of Altered Carbon, and I think it's pretty good, actually.
Yeah, I like
Yeah, I think it's pretty good.
I didn't mind the pilot.
I watched the first episode and I just felt nothing. And I was like, okay.
Well, that was
watch.
My
girl show to watch, so I'm fine to watch it. You know what I mean?
I watched The Godfather last night, and that still holds. Yeah, it's great.
The Godfather holds up.
Yeah, it holds up. Still a good movie.
I don't like that she has a Nazi.
Yeah, we gotta. Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't patched out that armband.
You know what? Video games have a long history.
You can't let the SJ Dubs win.
Yeah,
that's true.
And I'm definitely against Comics Gate and all that, but I did read. I was reading the IGN reviews of Doomsday Clock earlier today, and I was getting pretty angry I don't know if Comicsgate
did it
is
feel
about-
like payola, or was it just like fake outrage? What was it about that you didn't
not
like?
fake outrage. It's just like they are like loving it too much.
Oh,
It made me feel like, I don't know what Comicsgate is about, but if it's about some kind of ethics in comics journalism, maybe
it's not
Maybe I'll get
about
into
comics journalism this time. What's fucked up about Comicsgate is like, okay, so Gamergate, you could like, if you wanted to spin your brain around like today and say like, well, at least they were talking about ethics in journalism, which is like actually a thing, but they're talking about like ethics in writing and drawing comics, which is not a thing.
which is
like,
bizarre.
yeah, it's a creative work. Like, you don't get. I thought you fuckers were about defending creative freedom. That was the whole reason why I was like, "Ooh, I like what you're. I like creative freedom." And idiots like me and other people were like, "Ooh, I like that. I like creative freedom."
Well,
I thought that
they're just
they're
mad about
fucking losers. Yeah.
mad about random shit that happens in comics. I guess they have some point because Marvel did go back on its diversity
Right.
initiative. It brought all the white heroes back. It's like, hey, Black Panther's coming out. Hey, we're bringing all the white heroes back.
I thought it was like very, but it was who's in charge now? It's Cebulski, who used to be Akira Yoshida. Like, I think it's very interesting that like DC seems to be having this resurgence while Marvel is kind of falling apart. And even though with the movies, it's the totally opposite. And I'm not talking about you two's opinion. I'm talking about just money and box office and public perception, which is that the Marvel movies are better than the DC movies. I'm not trying to fight here.
I just want to be clear that none of these movies are good, except for Superman versus Batman. But continue.
So anyway, why do you think it is that? Do you think it's that Marvel put the?
I disagree with even the framing that like DC is better as comics right now.
But that's
Both
how it's
comics
being
are just
framed.
bad right now.
If you look at like any of these, like if you look at CBR or Newsarama or any of these comic communities, the consensus from like the hardcore like has been have been posting about comics since 1997. People is that DC is good.
I guess DC has some more stuff going on. I read some of like Super Sons and stuff like that. That's all fine.
Deathstroke is good. I'll say
Doomsday Clock is just mega fucked up. That is like.
Is it still more just like bad Watchmen fan fiction?
I mean, it's extremely bad Watchmen. Jeff Johns not smart enough to do Watchmen. But on top of all that, it's a boring comic. There's not a lot happening in it, other than being just like infuriating to anybody who cares at all about Watchmen. But I was reading the reviews on IGN, and it reminds me, and I know people like this movie, but it reminded me a lot of the reviews of Blade Runner 2049, which is like these reviewers like revealed that they didn't like the original thing.
So this guy's like, I don't like Watchmen.
No, it's like
but
in the review, it's like, well, I always found Watchmen like kind of like boring. Like
what?
The story works. I'm like, okay, well. How the fuck are you reviewing comic books?
Yeah.
I don't understand. I feel like that's like the new hot take that like a lot of these 80s comics that were really good were actually not good. Yeah. It's bullshit. Yeah. Like Frank Miller, his comics were fucking amazing. Like the guy's a monster now, but like to pretend that like his Batman wasn't awesome and that his Sin City wasn't good, that's just a falsehood. I mean, even like 300 was pretty good. Ronin was dope.
Ronan's great. That's such a cool weird.
I mean, 300. Okay,
I just love it. It's actually one of my favorite things to witness. Is like whenever somebody is like, and I mean, it's cool. Like we should be like holding people accountable for fucked up things they say and do. But it is very funny to me that every time like it's revealed that someone's an asshole, everyone's like, "I always hated Louis C.K." I'm like, "No,
you didn't.
You didn't. I was annoyed with how much you liked him before. Like you were lying. Like." It's so funny to me every time everyone's like, dude, like I've always hated
I've already started writing like a bit of his comeback set because I know it's going to be next year. It's going to be like next year, another year from now.
Year comebacks,
Well, I mean, yeah. Everybody. Well, this is I guess the year of forgiveness. I don't know.
Is that true?
No.
It'd be so funny if it's like just coincidentally, the year of forgiveness came right after the Me Too.
Yeah. This is the year where
totally a coincidence, everybody. But now we're about forgiveness.
Very short-term restorative justice.
So, do you want to try the other game we had? The even more.
Yeah.
So what game is it called? I'll download it really quick.
It's what is it? Arcana Heart 3 Love Max.
Okay.
Love Max.
All right.
Is that like CarMax but for love? That's a terrible joke. Shame on me. All right, let me check the chat room, see what people are yakking about.
Oh man, Cadence, you're betraying me. You're betraying me. I big upped you, and now you're shitting on DC. Traitors in our midst. Okay, Keaton, I do have to say, Ghostbusters 1 is not funny. It's a good movie, but it's not funny. Like that's my hot Ghostbusters take.
You don't like the first Ghostbusters, Leslie?
I'm not saying I dislike it. I just don't think it's not funny. There's nothing funny about the movie. It's like
pretty funny. I mean, like okay, here's the thing. A lot of what was funny in, I guess, 1984 has been so calcified in American humor that, I mean, it is sort of like that weird effect where you've seen so many comedies rip off the jokes from the original thing that it just doesn't feel as fresh anymore. I think the stuff with Bill Murray, especially just with him being a sleaze, is some of the funniest shit ever. When he's testing the two college students, the couple, and he's fucking with the guy and, you know, totally kissing up to the pretty girl. That's one of the funniest scenes. Or even just
funny the difference in power between.
Look, even Dan, it is a funny showing that because he's a piece of shit, and it's not to be celebrated. Same with Dan Aykroyd getting a blowjob from a ghost. That is funny, actually.
Leslie, what site did we get that on again? That game?
Humble Bundle.
It was on the Humble Bundle page.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Ghostbusters 2, I feel like there are just weirdos that pretend that is good, and like it's not. Rick Moranis is also one of my. The song is much better, actually. But Rick Moranis is also one of my favorite people ever, one of the best actors of the 80s, and he was smart. You know, first of all, he looks like my dad, so maybe that's a part of it. I have like a real. I love Little Shop of Horrors. I love even like My Blue Heaven with Steve Martin. Like I'm a sucker for that, for pretty much everything. I mean, he's in Streets of Fire with Walter Hill. He's good. Like in the 90s, his wife died, and he just retired and to take care of his kids. And like you rarely see a famous person do that, which is really remarkable. I think so many people in the entertainment industry are so self-obsessed that like. They couldn't even fathom to stop, craving that limelight, and he just walked away and never really came back. And it's just, I used to be, as a kid, I was like, that's so crazy. Where did he go? And it's like he went far the fuck away from all the shitty Hollywood people. Good for him,
folks. If you want us to have enough money that we can walk away from this shitty Hollywood scene, Patreon.com/struggle session. Make a one-time donation at paypal.me/LLEEII or on the Cash App LLEEII.
And we really appreciate it.
We really appreciate it. We would love to to just go out and build our own outer haven, basically. If we get that's our $5 million tier.
Is a base in Zanzibar?
Yes.
Where we can. All right, which one of us is getting our eye gouged out is the question. Because I like having two eyes. I mean, they're not very good. I have to wear glasses, but I like them. So
I can do the eye patch thing. It's fine.
You wouldn't. All right.
I would look cool with an eye patch. I have to say.
Did we mention in the show that Jack had a singer sing Snake Eater at his wedding?
Oh, we haven't talked about it on the show, so yes. And it was retweeted by Kojima.
It was really cool.
The man himself retweeted that.
That was very cool. It's not often you hear Snake Eater at weddings, and it is one of my favorite video game songs ever. So that was a real treat. I thought I think most of the people might have been a little confused, but that's okay.
I don't think they
I
were
was-
confused because it's just a good ass song.
Well, that it is. It's a good song. I mean, really does. I mean, it's God. I'm kind of the apparently like the singer was never credited for like the original Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. She like went under an alias. The actress who played why am I blanking out on her name? She was Big Mama in Metal Gear Solid 4, but in Metal Gear Solid 3, she was the love interest of Big Boss, who ended up being the Chinese agent who stole the philosopher's legacy. But she sang the song, and she used like the fake name like Suzetta like something. And my theory is that it is the same actress who played Meryl in Metal Gear Solid 1, but it's never been totally confirmed, or maybe it has.
So you have a struggle session. Excuse me. You have a Metal Gear Solid conspiracy theory. You have a conspiracy theory about a game about conspiracy theories.
There's a couple of great video game conspiracy theories we can go through. I would love to one day talk about how Michael Jackson basically was responsible for Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles soundtrack, but because of a scandal, they took his music and cut him out. There's some great secret histories. Or do you remember Working Designs? Like they were sort of the original Atlas, or was it Working Designs? I think so. They like translated like Lunar and Orc the Lad, and they were very funny localizers. And there's stuff about them too that was kind of interesting. But the biggest conspiracy of all is what the fuck happened to the next Chrono Trigger, Chrono Break. I want to know. I want to know why Square Enix killed the Chrono Trigger 3D remake made by fans if they were never going to touch the property again. Why did they trademark Chrono Break? Where was the game? What is this lost Chrono game? And how did it connect Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross?
You know, there's a game that's basically that Square made that's basically like Chrono Trigger again. It's called what's the name of it? It's something Sacrifice, I think.
Are you talking about I Am Setsuna?
Yeah, not I Am.
Yeah, I am Setsuna. Yeah.
See, I played it.
Really.
It's not really. I mean, it has like a similar art style, but it's like it's sad.
Not good, and it's also like it feels very like there's just nothing like really that unique about it. It just feels like a very paint by numbers JRPG to me when I played it. So we were at an impasse here. I can download the game, but that's gonna fuck up the bitrate for the stream.
Oh,
so I don't think I can like download it without fucking up our streaming here.
How's our guest doing on the food front?
I think she's still working on it. You know, pro wrestlers they have to eat a lot. They have to bulk
7
up.
pizzas.
Yeah, no, I get it.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, well, you will get it when you become a pro wrestler,
Which we will.
You will have to put on some mass. You'll be having to just down those pizzas, those chimichangas, and but you have to work out like 3 hours a day so that all that meat turns into.
Here's the thing.
Oh,
Here's the deal. I will if we get to $5,000 a month. I will make a video where I train with a real professional wrestler. That's a deal I just announced right now. I'll do it.
Wow.
Oh wow, that's huge.
Yeah,
and that's not coming out of the show funds or anything.
Oh,
right?
never,
You're paying
never.
for that yourself.
I mean, maybe. We'll see.
There's a lot of pro wrestling schools out in LA, in California, I should say. You got
There's also trapeze schools. I brought that up. That's just
What kind of schools?
trapeze. I took a trapeze class once, and I actually was kind of good at it, which scared me. Like I did a backflip and caught myself. Anyway,
That could be good for the wrestling.
yeah, that could be good for the rest. Anyway,
I'm surprised
we are.
everyone hates I Am Setsuna. I dug it. I thought it was cool, but everybody.
What did you like about it? Was it the melancholy tone? You like sad stuff?
Yeah, I like the melancholy tone. I like the fact that you're there to kill the person who joins your party. I think it's kind of cool. I like as far as the combat goes. I guess it's not as fun as Chrono Trigger, but I don't know if I go back and play Chrono Trigger, I might have as much fun.
Oh no, I think you would. I mean, it's aged spectacularly well. I played it a couple of years ago and I was blown away. Like everything with Luca and Robo and Marl and Frog and Magus and Lavos. I mean, it all fucking held up.
You know what? I think you should play is apparently the new PC port of Chrono Trigger that everyone was talking about.
Wait, what? Tell me about
You didn't hear about this?
No.
So I guess there's like just today the PC port of Chrono Trigger came out on Steam, and everyone's mad because it's just a port of the like phone version.
Square Enix is really, really ridiculous.
So great.
Like everything is like with like all the sprites have like the filter on it.
Oh
so
my
they're all
god!
lines.
See, I'm old enough. I'm old enough to remember when SquareSoft and Enix were two different companies.
Wow!
Wow, those were the
old.
days. That's old in gamer years.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, they just can't get it right though with these Actually, I can't even say that because they did release some good ones.
Well, it's the fucked up thing.
Final Fantasy X and then Final Fantasy X2 or 10-2.
Did you like 10-2?
I haven't played it, but apparently the ports are really good. I did start playing the port of 10 though.
The frustrating thing about them is that like they always. What Square Enix does is they will put ridiculous sales targets on their games that make no comprehensible sense and then announce that the game was a failure, even if it sells really well. Because they're like they claimed the last Hitman was a failure, they claim the last Tomb Raider was a failure. I mean, if frankly, the conspiracy theorist in me wonders if that's just how they undermine their own teams into paying everyone less, is to constantly claim their games are failure.
You know what I think we need to do is we need to do a gamer info wars with you, where we just get you to set up,
I would love that
up in front of the screen, and you just like.
Did you know
about,
that the Illuminati,
the conspiracy theories,
the Chinese are in your PUBG, the chemicals are in your water?
Just even do it. Don't even do it as a parody. I just want to get you on being like, and I want to know what happened to Chrono Break. Like, where is Chrono Break, people?
Where is
They're
it?
lying to you.
All right, our guest is just a few minutes away.
Beautiful.
Wow, how exciting!
I do want to say I'm looking at the Steam page for like the Chrono Trigger post. And I'm just so I feel so sad because
okay,
because the people post like the whoever is doing your social media, like they put this really cool like FAQ out with all the information you could possibly want. Really cheerful, really happy, and then they put, "Oh, surprise! We're releasing the game today. Isn't that great?"
Yeah.
Just yelling at them and like just feel sorry for those people.
I do too. I mean, forget the game journalists. It's the social media flacks for these companies who are making like $40,000 a year to be just completely trashed every single day.
Of, people getting trashed at their jobs and people being fucked up to them unnecessarily. I went to McDonald's earlier today and I got chicken McNuggets. And they accidentally gave me a Szechuan sauce. This Szechuan sauce is now so available that they just like give you Szechuan instead of sweet and sour sauce. So I'm ready to go back and have a riot at the McDonald's because I didn't like that shitty sauce.
Oh no. Oh man, what the fuck happened to like the first? I love the first season of Rick and Morty. Something like dark happened over the last couple of. I don't think the first season like had that fucked up of a fan base. Is it just too big now, or is it just that the creators dove too deep into like their fraudulent nihilism that it just created like an army of morons?
It just got really popular. That's basically it. Anything that gets that popular. Because under capitalism, people are monsters.
Well, but I
think it also like the Rick and Morty thing more than anything just makes me feel like, wow, young men are ready to be radicalized about just about anything. Like that's what like it gives me a little fear just because I'm like, man, people are like ready to get out there and like be violent and yell.
But do you remember that there were legitimate like actual like protests and marches over Conan O'Brien losing the Tonight Show?
It's so funny to me that like I feel like a lot of people in Los Angeles, their first like dalliances with politics were like protesting over the fucking Conan O'Brien show.
Conan O'Brien lost the Tonight Show, so Jay Leno got it back. The Jay Leno show got canceled, and people picketed.
Yeah,
lots of people picketed.
Yeah.
It's fucking sad.
It's good that there's we live in times now where there are better, more important things to focus on. But I do remember when everyone was really, really passionate about
LA's so weird.
Coco.
Oh yeah, the Team Coco. Good God. Good God.
What do you think, Leslie? Were you Team J or Team Coco?
Team Night. I was Team Coco. Team Coco, definitely.
Okay, good.
No.
That's like
Team United States of Care.
yeah. I'm Team United States of Care.
All right.
They're doing good stuff over there.
They're going to countries that Trump insults and then going, isn't it crazy that our president said this about you? They've done that in like 5 countries over the last 6 months. And it's just the same thing over and over and over again. I think the clueless gamer thing really wore out its welcome, though. It's like, you know how to play video games. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You're not a gamer. You liar.
Not a gamer.
He knows how to play games.
That's what you find inauthentic about it, is you think he's more of a gamer than he says he is.
No, it's like not that he definitely knows how. I think like his
I mean, it's a put on, but like I definitely don't think he's like fronting on how little of a gamer he is. That's not my problem with those segments.
well, they're also just like crappy ads.
Yeah, they're advertisements is my problem with them.
Sponsored content disguised as comedy.
Clearly and obviously ads.
All right, Jack. I'm going to send you the email of our next guest in the Discord,
Okay, great.
and then you can add them that way.
Add them here. Okay, cool.
Okay. We did it.
Hey, we're having another guest here.
A superstar in the world of professional wrestling to prepare you two superstars. This is what I'm already doing for you as a manager. I'm getting you a real life world champion professional wrestler here. Someone who's worked in all the big companies, you know, WWE, TNA, all of them. A Shimmer Women athlete, a Shine wrestling champion.
She's gonna whip us Struggle Boys into shape.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And she has a background in film as well, so you know you.
Oh,
can
that's
talk
great.
about- yeah. She's done some stunt work. She's worked at Universal Studios. Actually, she's
cool.
Well, she's friends with some of the what, because you don't say that you're this character or that character. You say that I'm friends with Mickey or I'm friends with.
Is that a problem? Do they do that at Universal too? Like, are they like I'm friends with Dominic Toretto?
I guess who is? I guess the Fast and the Furious are sort of like, and
Those are
Jimmy
like the
Fallon
main-
are
yeah.
like the main Comcast mascots now.
I guess the Mummy. I guess they're like I'm friends with the Mummy.
Let's bring her on. She's gonna help us out.
Oh boy.
What happened?
What else is going on, guys? I cleaned the garage all day today.
I know you mentioned that already, Jack.
Yeah. What a day! What a thing to do.
Oh man.
Ben Carson spent $31,000 on a dining room set. Oh, excuse me.
Ooh.
HUD spent $31,000 on a dining room set for Ben Carson's office.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad that we pay for that. That's a great way to spend taxes. It's clear that. Good
Well, I mean,
God,
when you get someone-
that's
when you get
fucking
someone with,
Jesus.
Like someone as sharp as Ben Carson. I mean, you have to make some exceptions. You know what I mean?
I'm like-
when you get talent like that,
This is a guy who knows everything about dissecting brains and nothing about divvying up property. The only reason he's in charge of HUD is because Trump needs to pretend that black people like him. It's so embarrassing. And it's, God, I mean, were Diamond and Silk not available for the job?
They would be so
It's-
much better.
Well, they'd be more entertaining. And I mean, they're more energetic and passionate.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think Ben Carson is pretty entertaining. I'm not gonna like.
Yeah, but
I'm not gonna sit here and let you guys say that Ben Carson is not an extremely entertaining figure.
I mean, Ben
to
Carson
exist.
is literally like if David Lieb Hart worked in like the Republican government. He is like if the puppet man in front of Hollywood Bowl knew how to like slice heads open. Like, have you actually seen Have you seen the Cuba Gooding Jr. Ben Carson movie? It's called Gifted
I've
Hands.
seen clips.
Gifted Hands, the Ben Carson story. It's
No, I've
it's
never
really It's really funny. It's just a TV movie starring Cuba Gooding Jr. And it's just all about how
that's
Ben
why-
Carson's the best guy in the world, and like it's kind of like Patch Adams.
But like that's not like that wasn't funny at the time. Like that was
No,
like
it was like a serious. No, it was like Patch Adams. It was like an attempt at a serious drama. Patch Adams wasn't really trying to be funny. It was Robin Williams trying to do a tearjerker, and it was really bad.
But what I mean by about Ben Carson being a great guy, like that was really his perception at the time before he started doing this religious. and
No, that's
political
true.
stuff.
No, you know it's true. Probably liberals loved the guy until he opened his mouth about his politics.
Yeah, not even just liberal, like black people, because he was like a super famous, surgeon. My mom will always tell me about him and try to get me to read Gifted Hands and stuff. So it was a really, it's really sad to see what he became, unfortunately, because he was a really, respected.
The GOP loves to pump and dump black Republicans, and it's very sick. I mean, remember what happened to Michael Steele? They like pushed this guy as the future of the GOP, and then they just got rid of him. And then they did that with Herman Cain, pumped him up for a little while, got rid of him, and they have no.
It's almost like they feel a certain way about. Oh,
hey,
Hello.
Hello. Okay, everyone, we're gonna
Sorry.
stop talking about Ben Carson. We have an amazing special guest, Miss Leva Bates, a real life professional wrestling champion. world champion.
Whoa!
She's been all
Welcome.
over, done it all. Thank you so much for joining us, Leva.
What's up? All right, I'm gonna grab my headset real quick. So I'm setting you guys down. Is it video streaming or is it just my audio?
We see both. We see
We
both.
see both.
I didn't know because I'm at you're seeing nothing right now, so I apologize.
Oh, no problem. No problem.
No,
we,
that's okay.
we will make accommodations for superstars.
Headphone. I can hear. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah,
We
you
can
sound
hear you
good.
great.
Okay, great. Because it's my gaming headphone, so it has a microphone. So I was hoping it worked on my phone, but I never actually tried it on my phone.
What have you been playing lately?
Lots of Overwatch.
Oh, cool.
The Overwatch, Dragon Ball Fighters.
Yeah, that's good.
That's Jack's new
That's
game.
good stuff. Dragon Ball Fighter
Yeah,
Z.
I'm terrible, but it's fun. I went back to Attack on Titan just because I think I was doing a stream with it because I had the Attack on Titan wiki retweet me last week, and like Funimation retweeted me because of my cosplay and winning the belt. So I played that in my stream. I love that game. So I've already beat it, but I'm just trying to unlock some of the other trophies. And then I also am playing Horizon. I beat.
Ooh,
the
are you in the
Telltale-
Frozen Wilds?
I don't have that yet because I haven't beat the main game. I gamer raged and quit for a little bit because I'm trying to get into a cauldron, but like the little assholes that are
The Watchers.
invisible-
Oh, the stalkers. They suck. You gotta hit them with the tear arrows, and that'll if you like hit their tail with the tear arrow, it'll kill their camouflage.
Okay, and then it's just their one hit hits me, and like most of my life goes away. And there's 3 of them, so I was like, I can get 1 down, and then I'll get 2 down, but then I'll run out of medicine, and then the 3rd one just gets a lucky shot, and then I rage out. Like that's happened a couple times. And the thing is, people are like, you don't need the cauldron, you just keep going. But I'm like, no, I wanna
No, the
tame
cauldrons are
animals.
sick. The
I
cauldrons are
wanna
the best.
tame animals.
Well, not only that, it's really fun when, like, for example, once you get one of these cauldrons, you can basically build your own dino army. You can hack like 3 Watchers and have them just take down a bellow back if you really
That's what I
are
love
good
to
about it.
do. So yeah, but I wanna keep taming things. So I really want this cauldron. So I haven't moved on from the cauldron, but I can't get past these stalkers. So so I'm kind of stuck there in gamer.
well,
rage.
Ouroboros.
I believe in you, but I didn't bring you on to talk about gaming really, because we talk about games a lot on this show. I've known Lena for a couple of years. This is my co-host, Jack Allison. Famous Hollywood screenwriter.
Whatever he says.
Jonathan Daniel Bryan.
Hello.
I call you Daniel Bryan. Jonathan Daniel Brown, a famous Hollywood actor,
Super famous.
star of Project X. You've seen it. You've seen it. It's been on MTV a lot. Leva, I brought you on because I want to take these boys, whip them into shape, and make them a pro wrestling tag team.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
just gonna put out that I've lost 75 pounds. But no,
I
I
put
could
on
I
the
could get
75
I could get into
pounds.
more shape.
like, so we've been doing this podcast thing. It's been really successful, but I feel like we're getting to a plateau, and like we really need to step it up our game. And I think pro wrestling is the next step for us as podcasters. And well, you're looking at them like you're shaking your head and saying no already. But Leva, it's really
I
because you know I thought you'd be down with this. I thought you
I
would be
know
like,
how to
'cause
I know how to
you
put
are the
my legs around
cosplaying
my head.
you are the cosplaying pro wrestler. You know that you can be a geek and you can be tough too. Are you telling me these boys have no hope?
No, I'm not saying they don't have hope, but my question to you boys, let me switch you over to here. My question to you is, how much do you like your body? And how much
I
do
love
you
my
like
body.
not being in pain? That is my question to you.
How much do I like my body? I revile my body. I don't want to do anything ever that would ever be good for my body. And as far as my level of willingness to endure pain, it's a 0. I don't want to have any pain in my life. I don't ever want to have any pain whatsoever. So can you tell me if those were the right answers?
Oh, well.
Oh, no.
If you want to be in wrestling, I would probably not actually wrestle then.
Okay.
So
Now,
so Leva, this podcast is about like the real struggles of like people who work in entertainment, and then we talk about like pro wrestlers as workers. Like this is a job that you do, and you have to deal with a lot. So why don't you give our listeners who might not know what it's like to be a pro wrestler, because it might seem so glamorous and easy on the outside, what the real deal is?
Wait, it looks easy?
Some people say so. They're always like, "Oh, it's choreographed, it's faked." I'm like, "Come on."
Well, all right, it's predetermined a lot of times. It's like it's a show. Like when you go see a stunt show. And I work with Sinbad at Universal Studios. I am friends with him or enemies with him. Going in there, Sinbad's probably going to win this fight. But it's not very easy physically. It's a really demanding show, and you can get really hurt. I've seen people get burned, for real. I've had my finger cut completely open. I didn't get it completely glued back together. I've seen people with broken wrists, broken arms, broken thumbs. It's not fake, but it's definitely not like, well, I'm gonna go in there and really sword fight with this guy and see who's gonna win. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, Sinbad's gonna.
Now, where do you wrestle from? Where are you based out of?
I'm based out of Orlando, Florida.
Okay.
So wrestling's a lot like that. Like, try getting slammed down on plywood on a regular basis. Tell me how fake that is, because it's definitely not fake at all. It's physically demanding and hard on your body, not just because of the pain you endure, because you are getting, like, the chops are real, like the slams are real, the getting slammed into a guardrail is not a pleasant feeling, like that's, you just learn how to take pain. Your body, you callous your body. That's what training's for, to callous yourself up. And that's exactly what Bubba's called it. You make your body into one giant callus. So, because you can endure it better.
That sounds horrifying.
Yeah, so basically,
it is. So, I mean, I'm not horrifying, but that's what you have to do. You have to learn how to accept pain. So people, when they say it's fake, well, here, let me slam you down on the ground and see how it feels. When people do you see it all the time, and people are diving on the ground, are diving to the outside, or doing like slams or suplexes to the outside. That's not fake at all. I mean, you're like, all right, that's going to suck a little bit, but but you've learned how to take it over the years, and your body's kind of numb to the pain. I don't know if we kill our nerve endings, or if it's just something you just kind of grow a tolerance to. But it's definitely not fake. So that does actually make me quite angry when people say it's fake,
All right,
Sure.
Leva, I feel like you're scaring these boys off.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
I'm.
sorry.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it.
But what's the glory? What's the good part about wrestling? What do you get out of being a professional wrestler? Because you're a veteran now, right? You've been doing this for a long time.
It's a type of entertainment that, because I do a lot of entertainment, as you know. I do acting, I do stunts, dancing, and maybe dancing kind of is similar to it, where you create your own reality. It's not like you get onto a set, okay, and action. You go for 30 seconds, cut, you're done. Whereas this is all encompassing theater. And even with theater, you don't have that connection that you do with the audience. And I'm not discrediting what theater does, but there is that distance with the stage. And some and this is experimental theater, and there's theater in the round. That's a little bit different. But there is just like a connection that you have that a lot of times the audience is a part of the show. Like especially with like the heels and antagonizing the audience and bringing them in and getting booed. Like the audience wants to feel included. And so
Right,
when
there's
you
no
do
fourth
include
wall.
them, it makes it more special for them.
So it's like Twitch.
Kind of, yeah. And it's probably why I've gravitated to Twitch so much myself. But it's like they want to feel involved. They want to be a part of it. And having them be a part of it and being so into it makes you more into it. And the thing is, you may have like, well, this is what this is going to happen in this match. It may not go, and you may have to completely change it up. That's happened so many times where it's like, well, that didn't work. We're going to have to do this instead. And I feel like in some forms of entertainment, and sure, you can improv and stuff, but I don't know, it's such a weird, niche-y, fun free form of entertainment. You create your own character. This is who I want to be, and this is how I'm going to do it. You don't have a director going, well, this is how it has to be. You may have a promoter going, hey, for my company, I want you to be a little bit more like this, but still within your rights as a performer. Like, well, this doesn't really fit what I do as a wrestler. This is kind of my gimmick, and it kind of goes against that. So you can actually argue with that, whereas opposed to like, you know what I mean? Like, you get a job as an actor. This is what you're going to play. This is who you are for the show. No offense, but one movie you might be the uber bad guy, and then the next one you might be Captain America. You know what I mean? Like whereas we're consistent through every single show for the most part, and then there's always exceptions to the rule. But does that make sense?
But there's also like there's a more sort of like wholeness to the creativity. Like you get more say in like exactly what you're doing and everything like that. And I can see the appeal to that. Not necessarily enough appeal for me personally to endure all of the massive amounts of pain that you were talking about. But I can definitely see the appeal to it.
Mm-hmm.
And how long have you been doing stunt work?
A little bit before wrestling, because I got into it because someone was like, well, if you dance, you do stunts, you act, why don't you do wrestling? And I'm like, I don't know. How do you get into it? And they're like, you go to school? And I'm like university school? Because they didn't teach wrestling. I know, that's what wrestling school. I'm like, oh, they have it there?
I don't know. Have you heard much about this this wigging controversy that's been blowing up over the last few weeks in the stunt world?
No.
It's that there is a problem where stunt coordinators are, instead of hiring women stunt performers, are hiring dudes that they put in wigs. And they claim that it's a safety issue, that the women cannot perform these stunts and that they have no choice but to.
It's kind of fucked up.
Yeah, it's kind of fucked up. And so
why are they saying that women can't do it? Like, is it like?
Well, they claim it's it's physical limitation. Usually, is what they say that women do not have the physical strength to pull off these stunts.
Character do things that women can't do.
That's the question. So that's what it boils down to.
I just feel like that's a crock of bullshit. Like, that's just them saying, well, it's easier for me to get my buddy who's small, who could probably do this flip-de-flu, and just give him the job because he needs the job anyway. I just feel like that's kind of a easy way of like, here, let my buddy out, you know, or hey, I worked with this girl last time, and she was kind of a pain in the ass. So you know what? Instead of bringing the girl this time, I'm just using the guy instead. I don't know. I don't know. Unless I can tell me some actual real, like, okay, this is a documentation. Women can't do this particular thing, whether it's genetics or whatever, our bodies. If you can show me some proof, then I'll buy it. Like, show me like a physical science, either a medical or a scientific thing saying that women cannot jump over this many feet or whatever. You know what I mean? Then all right, can men? All right, well then I see your point. But if you can't, then I find it's probably an easy out.
So we have two comments. One, Arga Warga says, for this next stunt, we need you to pee standing up. So I that's a good counterpoint.
It'd be a weird whatever character's doing that though.
Yeah. But the next question is, please have the guest plug your Twitch stream, because your Twitch stream is really good. It's a lot more successful than ours so far. But we're getting better. But your Twitch stream is getting pretty huge, actually. Oh, leave us pause. I think we lost her.
Did we lose her?
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh no!
She's frozen. She's
Sorry
wow.
about that.
No problem. We were
asked to restart by itself for no reason. My phone does that, and it decided to do that during an interview. So I'm so sorry about that. Technology doesn't like me. You'll find out.
Yeah,
Technology doesn't like any of us.
But we were asking you, viewers wanted you to plug your Twitch stream because it's huge now.
Okay, so when I left and it kicked me out, it was like there's 2 points or two arguments or two comments.
Oh, we're talking about the 2 comments. The first comment was just
it was just that for this next stunt they have to do it while
it was a joke.
Up.
Yeah,
it was a joke about the type of stunt you'd have to do need a man for.
Yeah. The second comment was asking you to where can we find you on Twitch? Where can we watch your stream?
Oh, yes. Okay. So now I'm back. All right. It is Wrestling Leva. I'm Wrestling Leva on literally everything. If you want to find me on Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Wrestling Leva, all one word, Wrestling LEVA. So that is my Twitch channel. I am a partner, so you could would love for people to subscribe. You get really cool emotes and have to deal with ads and whatnot, and you get all of my archives. So hey, holla. My voice cracked, but yeah, no, I've been doing that for a while. Started doing that when I broke my ankle. Maybe a little bit before breaking my ankle, but I really got into it when I broke my ankle because what else am I gonna do? I'm already playing video games, might as well stream it, right? And
that makes
that's
sense.
where I started like kind of developing more and more and more of like, all right, following and it's like what I use now with like, because I use an OBS system.
Sure, so do we.
So yeah, I ended up doing that because I started off just doing it via PlayStation through the camera and their system, which worked out fine when you first start. I think it's a great way of getting used to it. But then if you want to get bigger and expand, you have to go outside and
speaking of your broken ankle, how does healthcare and how does workers comp work in the wrestling world? What do you do when your bone breaks and you're knocked out of commission and can't work?
You're screwed.
Wow.
Well, if you're a wrestler, yeah, because we don't have there isn't a way of like compensating. I've actually had a company. I want to say it was Remix Pro Wrestling. I want to make sure I get this right. They ended up getting the refund for my plane ticket, and then they sent it to me. I thought that was really sweet. They're like, hey, you're not going to be able to work for a while. Here you go. And I'm like, no. You spent money. I couldn't be there. Keep it. And they're like, no, we want to do this for you. So I just thought that was really sweet.
Oh,
I was fortunate and super, super lucky, knock on wood. Let me find some wood. I, at the time, was full-time at Universal Studios, so they have fantastic benefits.
Very nice.
So yeah, I was able to get like a not workman's comp, but like a disability because of my broken ankle, because I couldn't work, because everything I do at Universal requires feet. I dance, act, and do stunts, so that all requires.
And there's no unions for any of that in Orlando, I take it.
For like wrestling or
no, just the theme park performance.
They have have unions for I think like actors, like
Mhm.
the SAG and stuff, but they
Sure.
were actually they took care of me. Like Universal took care of me, and I really appreciated that because the benefits are fantastic. So I was lucky because I was full time when I broke my ankle. Now if I broke my ankle, I'd be in trouble because I'm no longer full time. I have personal insurance. Just because a show closed, I didn't. The contract dissolved, obviously, because there's no show. And then I kind of liked actually having a day off and like having my own schedule. So I am super part time, which is good. Like I pick up a lot of hours when I need it because I just bought a new car, so I have to pick up a lot of hours. But I am not beholden to work every day of my life, which is nice. So if I do have a 3-day wrestling weekend or a 4-day wrestling weekend, I can take that off. Or if it's been really hard and I need a day off for myself, I can do that too, which is nice. But now that I'm no longer full time, I don't have the benefits I had before. So if I do get injured, I will be living off of savings and credit cards because you don't really have like personal insurance doesn't do like the disability and the like the here or pay for part of your paycheck since you're not going to be here type thing.
Mm-hmm.
So
But I was trying to get these boys into wrestling because they were going to make a ton of money, and you're just disavowed.
I'm the worst, aren't I? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're like, don't do it. It hurts.
Yeah, she's not really selling us on this.
Don't do it.
But leave a well at the very
It's
least,
fun, though. I love it, but
you love it, and you bring a lot of joy to people in wrestling. Like everybody, when you come out, is super happy because you have such a vibrant personality and you do cosplay and people love it. Tell us about all your geeky cosplay.
Yeah, who do you like to dress up as?
oh my god, I've dressed up as like everything. So it's here. Let me fix the lighting here because this lighting sucks. Hey, look, I'm lit up now. Literally, you name it, I probably have cosplayed something similar or will do at some point.
Like real
most
deep.
recent that really got a lot. I've done a lot. I've gotten a lot of attention, but like Attack on Titan, I was Mikasa when I won the Heavy On Championship, and that got a lot of buzz. It was really cool. Like Funimation and Attack on Titan, like Wiki and all that. It was super supportive about it, and like I wouldn't even say like Trina, who voices her, even like was kind of supportive about it. So it was really really cool that they were so into it. It actually helped really promote both sides. So I thought that was really cool. I did Zack Ryder not too long ago, and that was a lot of fun. He was so into it too. Like he retweeted everything that because Chelsea, his girlfriend, was in the match as well. It's a 4-way. So he retweeted everything that we tweeted about it and like liked everything and really put it over. So that was really, really sweet of him. I thought like it's really nice when you do cosplay something, if the person or like the company or whatever is really into it. That just it's like, okay, you get me.
So
feeling your thing. I'm kind of doing a homage to you. Like, here, you're pretty cool. I'm gonna let the world know you're pretty cool. So I don't know.
Absolutely.
And you've done Spider-Gwen. I really I thought that was a deep cut for a cosplay.
That's an alternate universe.
Yeah, I did actually. I went through. It was with Atomic Wrestling. 3 shows in a row. I did different versions of Gwen Stacy. I did Gwen Stacy. Took a finish with a broken neck. The neck breaker.
You broke your neck?
I took a neck breaker. Obviously, as Gwen Stacy. I came back as Spider-Gwen, and then I also did Gwenpool the 3rd time.
Okay.
So you didn't do pregnant with the Green Goblin's babies.
Oh man, we can thank J. Michael Straczynski for that one.
JMS, but the most horrifying rendition of all.
Oh right. Man,
Peter's honestly, to be honest with you, coming toward the end of this, I feel like I'm not convinced that I want to do wrestling.
No, I'm scared.
I might be convinced that I want to do cosplay.
Well, yeah, I could see you. I could see. Depends on the fandom.
Yeah, it depends on the fandom. Very obvious.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, Leva. Really appreciate it. You're wonderful wrestler, wonderful person. It's so nice to get you on the show. Tell people again where they can find you, and if you have any matches coming up.
Oh Lord, I do. Okay, I am on almost all sorts of social media, so you can find me on Twitter, Instagram. It's Wrestling Leva. I also, again, am a Twitch partner, so definitely follow me. I'm always playing games. I do at least once a week. I do some sort of stream, usually just on Tuesdays because of Black Panther tonight, and then hanging out with friends I don't see often, and then doing this show. I was like, I'll do it tomorrow or maybe Thursday, depending on how my scheduling goes. But I got time. Stream will come. So yeah, Wrestling Leva on there. Just up Leva Bates. Usually you can find that. Show wise, coming up. Well, I'm not allowed to say what my next show is because it's a surprise.
Ooh.
Okay.
That's good. That's good though. That's exciting. If you can't say it, that's a good sign.
It's
right?
It's in Illinois. I'll say that coming up soon.
Oh, okay, cool.
And then what else? Wrestle Circus is coming up. I need to look at my calendar. I know I got the Mania weekend, so like Shimmer week after Mania. Might be another Wrestle Circus possibly there. I think I'm doing something with Mega Ran. Last year I hosted his concert during Mania weekend, so
Mega Ran's
doing
cool.
the same thing. So he's a good buddy of mine. I love him. So usually we always work together. I'm forgetting a booking on the last week of March, and I don't remember what it is off the top of my head.
But you will find it at Twitter.
I'll
/at
tweet
Wrestling
about it. I
Leva.
swear I'll tweet about it. So
All right.
April picks up. April's really crazy. Like March slows down a little bit. I think everyone's getting ready for Mania, so it slows down just a little bit, which is fine. I'm actually taking this weekend off to heal myself and to rest and relax and to enjoy my PlayStation. And
that's what I'll be doing too.
I haven't got to do Mardi Gras at Universal yet, so I may go play and just do that my one time this year I can do it because I'm literally booked every other weekend.
Hey, when you mentioned Sinbad earlier, did you mean like the comedian Sinbad?
I think she meant of the thief.
Okay, yeah.
She sword fights the
Sinbad
comedians.
Sunset.
Okay, not from First Kid and Houseguest. I just wanted to make sure because
Oh my god! So you know what's really funny? When I first got cast in Sinbad, I was big into Photoshop at the time, and I photoshopped a picture of me punching the comedian Sinbad. I was like, "Good, I got cast." It's me punching him. So, but our
That'll
Sinbad
get you the
has
job.
an extra D in it, so Sinbad.
Oh, Sinbad, right?
That is the 8th voyage of Sinbad, as opposed to the 7 voyages of Sinbad. The movie, he added one more. So it's here. So.
Well, great talking to you. Thanks for coming.
Thanks for coming on, Leva.
No, thanks for having me, guys. Sorry about the drop and everything.
No, don't even worry about it. We didn't even.
It's
It's water under the bridge.
Well, nice talking to you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's a new iPhone. I got a new car, so well, I must wait.
I get it.
All right, guys.
All right,
Thank you.
thank
All
you.
right.
Bye.
Yeah.
Bye. I don't know how to turn this off, so.
Oh, we got it. We got it. We're taking care of it. Right. Well, there you have it, folks. We just did another wildly successful struggle-a-thon, just like that.
Well, I don't know how successful it is because I feel like after seeing you boys cower,
I was terrified of her. What do I mean? Not of her,
Cower.
of the neck
her.
breaking. She breaks things constantly. She's always in pain. She has no health insurance.
you cower.
You have to love wrestling to take that kind of shit.
Yeah, seeing you cower before Leva, I don't know if I can take you guys to the top. I'm like, I'm not gonna waste my time with a tag team that's not willing to do what it takes. To
I
win
think you
gold.
might have to. I think you might have to find a new. I think you might have to find a new horse, Big L. I'm not sure we're gonna. I'm not sure we're gonna be your stud.
I'm gonna call up Street Fight and see, or WrestleSplain.
I bet Murder Brian could actually do a suplex. I mean, I can put one of my legs behind my head. That's about it.
Yeah, you know what, Leslie? I think we're in.
All right, fuck it. Let's do it. Why not? Why not? Let's do it.
Be a tag team.
Let's take it to the championship.
So let's get this thing going. Let's start hitting the indie circuit, and Let's get this thing worked out. I'm convinced.
I like bleeding and broken bones.
All right, hell yeah. All right. So how you guys feeling? How's the
Tired.
chat room
Fucking
feeling?
tired.
Chat room.
I should have had some caffeine. I should have brought caffeine. How's the chat room doing? Let me actually. I plugged in my
We're
phone the
okay.
last hour. Everyone's still hanging out.
Oh, the key to becoming a good wrestler is you have to practice on journalists first. That's a good one. Yeah, practice your suplexes on journalists. That journalist is he sucks. Like the guy who slammed him sucks, but the guy who got slammed also sucks. So.
Ben C. Jacobs or whatever. That guy.
Yeah,
He does suck.
Did that Gianfort guy? He's in power,
He's
right?
in power.
So nothing changed.
Nothing changed, but I will say it was cool that he hit Ben Jacobs.
I mean, if you have to hit one reporter, no, it's bad. I mean, hitting reporters is bad. Full disclosure, I actually think that. That
not
said,
the
he's
position of the
been he's been such a simpering fucking like loser about the Trump administration that, I mean, he was probably just the easiest reporter to hit, which is what anybody else who would have asked that same question wouldn't have gotten knocked around. But that guy is just so obnoxious that I don't know. Still, it's like. I don't know. It's like in Die Hard when there's that one reporter who just won't leave the McClane family alone. You know it's not in the interest of the public to want to see that guy get smacked, but you can't help yourself.
yeah.
I
So
mean, I can't help myself. I like to see.
so Jack's already ready to smack some reporters. I think this tag, the sure sign of a great heel wrestler is that he's willing to beat up like a commentator. So if you got that going for you, we'll get there. We'll get there.
I'll happily beat the shit out of any commentator.
Oh yeah.
Show me a commentator. Point me toward him.
All right, folks.
Well, this has been a extremely
Good
telethon.
It has.
Telethon. It has. Patreon.com/struggle session. If you can do us a huge favor tomorrow, let's see where we're at on our donations, because our goal was to get to 2,000 by the end of this month, and we're pretty close. We only need maybe
Really like
15
more.
15 more people. And I think we can do it because tomorrow morning I'm posting the episode with Felix.
I think it's gonna happen.
And those Chapo fans, they're gonna have to come on. But I need you to tell your Chapo friends to say, hey, sign up for Struggle Session. It's good. Don't just go and try to pirate it. Okay. You don't. I know that there's the Black Wolf feed of Chapo because people think those guys have enough money. But folks, we do not have enough money. Not yet. Yeah, we'll let you know when we have enough money.
When we're piratable, when we can afford to be pirated,
we'll tell you our own.
Website. Yeah, don't worry about it. But we're not there yet.
Yeah,
promise.
When we get there, we will torrent our own shit, as any good leftist should. But until then, patreon.com/struggle session. We got the one-time donation came in. We got another one. Timothy J, thank you so much for your donation, for your one-time donation. Thank everyone who subscribed. Like we really, truly appreciate it. It means so much to us. That you support us and you believe in our show and you like hearing us talk about all this stuff, like, because it's the best job I've ever had by far.
Yeah, we want to make it our full-time jobs, and we will. We keep growing by the month. It's an exciting thing,
and we will because of you, the early adopters, the people who are supporting us now. We know that this is just going to keep going up and up and up, and we're going to take it to the top, baby.
This is year one. This is year one, and we are headed to sort of the 6-month mark where wow, it's really exciting. But we're 6 months old now, and we've grown remarkably over the last half year. But we're in this for the long haul. So if you stick with us, I think we've got exciting things ahead.
Yeah, I'm very excited for it. Very appreciative of it. Thank you all so much for supporting us. Jack, any last words, especially since you haven't been here a while?
Yeah, no, I'm really glad to be back, guys, and I miss doing the show, and and as good of episodes as you guys were doing without me, I selfishly still want to be a part of this.
No, you should. I mean, look, we love
it. Is just it's a very cool thing. I don't know. I'm just glad to be back, and
We're glad you're back. We're glad you're back.
We're glad.
We're
glad.
stoked
Very
that
happy.
everyone listens to the show and listen to the Felix episode. It's very good.
It's
good
a fun
episode
one, and
coming up.
it's passionate.
So thanks for watching, everyone. I think that we're gonna stop doing it soon. Right?
Yes.
Is that the idea?
Yeah, we're all tired. Leslie needs to go to sleep.
Leslie's
I
the
gotta
most
go
tired.
eat dinner. You gotta go eat
I gotta
dinner.
go eat dinner. But thanks to everyone for tuning in for
Oh,
another.
look what Lafa
Strugglethon.
just said to
Who's
you.
that?
That's so sweet. Good
Look
to
at that.
see your mic, Jack, and hear you.
Hey, there we are. What's going on, dude?
We love you.
Oh, that's very sweet, everyone. Yeah, thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll
See you soon.
We'll see you later.
Come
on.
hang out in the Discord. Bye bye.
Peace.
Peace.
That was good.
That was good. I like that.
That was fun. That was